Y'all give me a second here. Just welcome. I'm going to be kicking it with y'all. We got 70 people. I'm going to give it a second. Get those likes up. I'm not even saying a word till we get those likes all the way up to 50 likes. We got 70 people in the building right now watching. I need y'all to get those likes up right now. Do me a favor and get those likes up, people. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Happy to have y'all here, but get those likes up. All the way up. Get those likes up. We at 34 likes, people. Get them up. Get them up. Get them up. Get them up. Those likes up. Get those likes up. Get them up. Get those likes up. Get them up. Get those likes up. Get them up. All right, we at 38 likes, 77 people watching. I need y'all to get those likes up right now for the Trigger Mike Show. Welcome to everybody in the building. There we go. 41 likes. Let's get 50. Let's get 50. If you some of you are notorious and don't listen when I talk. So I need to make y'all work for it. Let me get those likes all the way up to 50 right now. If you have not hit the like button, show your support and tap on that like button. Let's go. Let's go. We need 50 likes. I want 75% participation. I know y'all can do it. And I appreciate y'all. One more like so we can get this popping. 52. There we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. I appreciate y'all for sliding through. We got such a good topic or topics for you today. Greetings to everybody nationwide, all over the U.S. and our international viewers, Canada, UK, Africa, and beyond. Thank you for tuning in to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. Thank you for hitting the like button for the YouTube algorithm, letting people know this is what you're watching on this good Thursday. It's Thursday again. Wow. These weeks just go. They fly by. Thursday's a hella busy day. Obviously, we got the big show on Lapeef Let's Talk tonight, but I got gymnastics. I got soccer practice for the babies. It's a hella busy day on Thursday. But we're going to make it do what it do. I mean, that's really what we got. We got Kumon at 3:30. Golly. Thursday's a hella busy day, but we're gonna make it work. Shout out to all my parents, man. All my parents, moms, dads, everybody making it work. Getting these children to their activities and whatnot. You know, just doing life in the way it needs to be done. Looking out for those kids, making sure they have good experiences. And they growing up better than we did. They growing up more efficient than we were. Shout out to everybody doing that. Who the hell said I'm 61 in the chat? Demetrius Carter, bring your ass up here to the front of the congregation. Oh, we at 61. I thought you said I was 61 years old. I was like, God, appreciate that, bro. Thank you for looking out for the count. We had 61 likes on 92 people watching currently. Thank you so much for the support, y'all. I really appreciate it. All right, so make sure you like and subscribe to the network. Like and subscribe to the Lapeef Network. This is the best network on YouTube. We always thinking of new ways to bring things up, to support y'all. And we always know y'all want new and fresh content. We got clips, everything you need on this network. So what I want you to do, we on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I need for you to do, sincerely, I'm asking, okay? I'm asking, share this out. Share this out to your people. Let them know this is what you're watching. Let them know this is a Black-owned network, all right, that's giving you content, excellent content. And we even going to touch on the term Black excellence today. And y'all are going to figure out why I say what I say. But this is an excellent network. You know, this is the way most of the world watches TV now anyway. Nobody's turning on a tube anymore. Those big ass TVs you got sitting in your house don't get as much use as your smartphone now, do they? And we on that smartphone. All right. So you're going to want to take part in this. All right. So make sure you share this out so other people can share this experience with you on these topics. Let them know to watch the Trigger Mike Show. Let them know to watch Lapeef Let's Talk tonight. And let them hit the bell for notifications so you get notified on everything you want to watch. Pick your favorites. So show your support, subscribe, and share this out to people. All right. If you would like to continuously support the show, you can do so in the form of super chat. We always appreciate that. These productions, this staff, and the equipment cost money. So if you want to support your people, you can always do so in the form of super chat. That is a greatly appreciated form of thanks. If the broadcast is over, you can also purchase a super thanks. All right. If you like anything any of the panelists said, you can also do so by super chat and super thanks after the broadcast is over. Let's see who we got in the chat today. Who we got in the chat? Mr. Rich, Marriage, Politics, and Sports, always in the building. Appreciate it. Roller Skater Texas Girl. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Happy to have you on the show. Happy to have you. Jay Rillo, what's going on? Artie Chico, the Conehead. Listen, I feel like we've greatly neglected 80s and 90s movies. Used to be my favorites, but ever since like the Marvels and stuff started taking over, and then we got all these cinematic effects and special effects, I stopped. I stopped watching the movies that made me. The Coneheads is one of those movies that made me. If you had a VHS in your house and you remember it, and you thought it was a big deal when your daddy or your mama bought the rewinder. You remember the rewinder? We had one of those, like rewind that all the way back. Because remember, if you keep rewinding on the VHS, the actual system, it'll break. It breaks it faster. My dad bought a rewinder. Just put it in there. If you remember what I'm talking about, that rewinder, let me know. Damn, VHS. We old school out here. These kids could never understand all the. Hey, listen up. Put a 1 in the chat if your family had a wall unit. Put a 1 in the chat if your family had a wall unit with a bunch of VHS up in that mug. Damn. You had leftover, not even leftover, late blockbuster DVDs. I'm sorry, VHS movies. Late as hell. Like, mama, you don't want to take this back? We don't watch it about 5 times. The late fees are accruing. Damn. We had a big ass wall unit. Those are the moving on up symbols. When you get a big old wall unit like that with a TV in the center. Yep, we sure did, Brandon E. 38 years old. I'm 36. Grew up in the last decade of VHS tapes and cassette tapes. Damn sure. We damn sure did, bro. Damn sure did. What were my favorite? Hey, put y'all favorite VHS tapes. I had Three Ninjas. I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3. I had Mortal Kombat. Absolute favorite. Mortal Kombat was my absolute favorite one that I watched over and over and over. I had like the Coneheads, like he said. What's another one? Independence Day. Independence Day was a big one I watched over and over. There's some more. Look, I loved everything action, everything fighting. I think it was the Jean-Claude Van Damme one where he did the splits, punched him in the nuts, something like that. No, that was Mortal Kombat. The hell I'm talking about. Bloodsport. My man True Table said he had RoboCop. Come on, Dimitri. Everybody had Lion King. Everybody had Lion King. Ooh, Bad Boys. Pack of strawberry bubblicious and some Skittles. Damn. All right, we're gonna have to throw a VHS party. Dr. Doolittle. I think I wanted those little dreads too that he had in that movie. Three Ninjas was a classic. The Golden Child, Home Alone. Oh, y'all. Oh man. Gremlins. Y'all taking it back now. Y'all taking it back. The Clumps. Indeed. They said everything Sylvester Stallone. I didn't have any Rockies. That was always on TV. Rocky was on TV like every other day. Ghostbusters, Teen Wolf, Police Academy, Toy Story. So right around the time of Toy Story, the boxes for the case for the VHS started getting all fancy. Remember, it was like white plastic, all colorful and stuff. It wasn't just the cardboard. It was all fancy. We had Toy Story like 1, 2, House Party, Rush Hour. DVDs came out, I think, by the second one. First one was on VHS. East Chanel. Oh no. No, you didn't. The Mighty Ducks. I had the second one, but the first one, they all came on the Disney Channel like every other day. All right, we getting sidetracked. Y'all about to have me y'all about to have me on Thursday, Throwback Thursday for real, for real. The Last Dragon. Okay, the kids today actually will never know how dope this movie was. They need to remake it, in fact. To me, anyway. My man. Show enough. All right, we taking a trip down memory lane. We just went there. We staying there. But appreciate everybody for coming through to the Trigger Mike show today. Oh, Pocahontas. I'm gonna stop looking at the chat. Y'all sidetracking me. We do have a topic to discuss today other than VHS movies. Can you imagine? All right, I'm sorry. Can you imagine the Last Dragon with today's special effects? He got to get some better weapons though. That fool was throwing nails. They must have had a small budget. Leroy. That fool was throwing nails. They got to get better weapons in there. It's 2023. I can't wait to see the remake. You know they remaking everything. Who's the baddest? Show enough. And they got to redo. They got to redo what Show enough looked like, because there's no way anybody in Harlem that I know of, unless they're an Israelite or something, is dressing like Show enough was dressing. I don't care if you do karate or not. Oh, blank man. No, you didn't. Ah, J5. 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 Y'all gonna sidetrack me today, man. Y'all gonna sidetrack me today. We have very substantive conversation to have, and y'all got me hung up on old VHS movies. My kids are gonna know the greatness of the 90s movies. I was born in the 80s, okay? But the 90s, by far, the best decade of all time. You had to be there to experience it. Some of you kids will never know. Will never know. But let's get into today's topic, man. Let's get into today's topic. We got some stuff to talk about. So I don't know if y'all heard, but they're talking about something. We don't know if it's going to happen. No need to get our hopes up, right? We have no idea if it's going to happen, but they are saying the state of California government has enacted something called the Task Force for Reparations for African Americans. Wow. If anybody was going to do it, it would be New York or California. If anybody was going to take a stab at it, it would be those two. And don't get me wrong, I do believe there are other states or local areas in other states trying to do something. It's trying to do something just like this. But as far as putting it out to the masses as a statewide effort, California is a very rich state. It has a lot of black people in it. So when you talk about population size of a state, this is a big one. New York, California, Texas, those type of size, when those states say they're doing something, the world better pay attention. So California said they have enacted something called the Task Force for Reparations for African Americans. So I never thought we'd get here. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I never thought we'd get here talking about reparations on a state level, much less there ever being a task force enacted by a governor for such a thing. They are saying that from their calculations in their state, remember, this is statewide. So some of y'all think that number is a bit low, but this is 1 out of 50 states. So do the math. Do the math. Um, 800 billion. If you think if you think 800 billion for one state is too low, let me know in the chat. Because 800 billion is a lot of damn money. Let me look this up real quick. How many people? I'm sorry, how many black people live in California? 2.251 million as of 2020 census. Let me go 2.2, wait, 800 billion divided by 2.2 million. That would end up being $363,636. So about $365,000 per person. And everybody's not eligible to get it. So naturally, that number is going to go up. It's going to go up. But what are y'all saying in the chat? That's a ton of money. That's per state? No, this is California. Remember, somebody said 52 states. I'm going to say 50 states. Your mama said 50 states? I'm going to say 50 states. There ain't no 52 states. There are 50 states and 2 territories or something like that. I don't know. I haven't been in geography for years. Y'all don't hold me to that. Let's get into what the topic of today. Some of y'all saying that ain't enough. Isaiah Jr. says that ain't enough. Jill's Chocolate Boutique says she'll take it. Damn, I need to order some chocolate for you. Hit me up on Instagram again with a link so I can order that today. All right. So, I mean, let's talk about it. And for those of you that think I shouldn't be talking on this topic, let me let you know something real quick. All right. Let me let you know something real quick. But I never thought I'd see any government taking this seriously. And I know I'm a non-FBA tether, like y'all want to call full-blooded African immigrants and their children. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. Because my wife is black. Because my wife is black. And her lineage in this country is very deep. On her mother's side, New York, Panama, back to New York. So her people were all a part of the, it's weird to me that the black Panamanian colony, like some of the blackest dark people you ever seen, but they speak Spanish. It's weird. But knowing that history, that's a very rich history of people that were from America, migrated there, built families there. Some of them moved back, some of them did it. So on her mother's side, that's what she got going on. Then on her father's side, they're from South Carolina. They still own land there to this day. Rich history, rich black history, rooted in, of course, slavery. The Negro League of Baseball. They got some Negro League baseball players in her family. All of that. That's why they want my son to play baseball. So yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry if you ass hurt about it, but reparations might be coming to my home too. And just to be, if I wouldn't be Trigger Mike if I didn't let you know that whether y'all gave me money or not, I bet you some of that money end up in my pocket one way or another. But we're gonna talk about that a little later. Let's talk about who qualifies for these payments that they're talking about. This is really deep. And when they say they put together a task force, you got to understand. When they say they put together a task force, these people really did their homework. All right. I know we think that groups of white people or whoever shouldn't be speaking on these issues, but I think they broke this down. I think I would say mean well, but I think they're taking a very intelligent approach about this. Because the one question I've always had is, how do you map out who gets reparations? How do you detail the atrocities that happen and break it up, break it down, into something black people can agree to, because once you do it, you got to do it. Ain't no coming back for more, none of that. So you have to cover all the bases. You have to make sure that you are aware of all the atrocities that happen. And I think they did a good job. Here's who they say qualify. And let me break this down to you. This source is from Fox 2 San Francisco, just to name my source. Okay. Housing discrimination. They reported that those people who were subject to housing discrimination from 1933 to 1997. People that were subject to over policing, that's some of y'all favorite topics today, and mass incarceration from 1970 to 2020. If you know your history, let me know, and I'm going to pause. What groups of black people suffered from mass incarceration from 1970 to 2020? Let me know. Somebody calling me for advice while I do my dang show. Let's see who got their head on straight. Crack dealers, BJ, let's go. We're going to get people talking today. Sounds like the war on drugs. Okay. Black and Latino people. Oh no, those innocent pookies. Hey, I mean, whatever you want to call them. All right. So y'all up on game. I mean, black men, the war on drugs, crime bills. There we go. So, hey, look, that's why I said when you talk about even the show Snowfall and parts of that being declassified to say that it took part in California and the funding of the war of the Contras using black crack sales and all of that, that happened in California. So I think it's pretty dope that they are aware of what's going on. And you see that represented in what they're trying to do here. Let's continue. Unjust property taking. This to me was like, whoa. And if you've done your research on California recently, you realize they even gave back a black beach that was taken. So California has been up on game, and this is not a surprise. They've always kind of wanted to be ahead of the curve with fairness to black people in the modern sense, right? Not a historical sense. In the modern sense, they seem to be pretty woke. But let's continue. People who suffered unjust property taking, or I just summarized that to say stolen property, from 1900 to 2020. I believe when they say unjust property taking, that is pretty broad. But from what we know that happened, people force eminent domain. I do believe that if you go into history, they force eminent domain on black neighborhoods. So they can just take the property. They don't have to pay for it. They don't have to do any bidding. They don't even have to pay market value. They'll just force eminent domain. And I think if you can follow the trail of redlining and all of that, then things dealing with housing, you see that it may have been unjustly levied against black people. Another big one, health harms, unjust healthcare practices, health harms. Let's see who knows their history from 1900 to 2020. What health harms have black people suffered at the hands of the United States government or state or local governments? Let's talk about it. Let's see who knows their history. Y'all talk a lot about reparations. I hope you'd understand why you'd be getting them. Who knows their history? What health harms, unjust health care practices were levied against black people from 1900 to 2020? My My man Demetrius on par today. Tuskegee experiment. There were more experiments like that, if you didn't know. Woo! HIV AIDS. Vaccinations. Okay. The flu. You're gonna need to explain. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't know. That's news to me. Yeah. Y'all up on game, man. Crack. Indeed. Indeed. Crack. And let's not forget that there are even things that were legal and certified legal by the FDA that were being tested during trials on black populations. People dying because of it. So let's not forget that. Last but not least, the devaluation of black-owned businesses from 1850 to 2020. Now, I get on my soapbox a lot and I talk to black people about oppression and look, man, you're not oppressed in today's age. Put a battery in your back, get up, get to it. I do a lot of that. But one of the things that I can say is very, very, very sad is that people devalue black businesses and have done it for a century or more for their own personal gain. If I'm somebody who understands business at all, there is a lot of business to be had or business to gain from devaluing somebody else's business. So you can either buy it and take their market share or eliminate them as competition altogether. So that I absolutely believe that happened. The black dollar and the way that it is spent is something that these companies fight over. So why wouldn't they want to eliminate black business, black people in general, or black business owners from stealing black business? Right now, any pride black people show in their own businesses is taking market share away from a white-owned business. So as somebody who understands commerce, marketing, you understand that's not really what any of these conglomerates want, right? They don't want you starting your own companies. They don't want your people showing pride in its own people because then your market share goes up, their market share goes down. They don't want that. The devaluation of black-owned business from 1850 to 2020. And you got to understand that if they're going that far back, they did the research within their own records. Within their own records, they found unjust practices against black people. That's crazy. So let me give you my thoughts on reparations. This FBA tether is about to give you my thoughts on it. I never thought that they'd enact something like this. All right. But my wife is black. So I might be getting some if they're giving them out. No, I live in Texas. Let's be real. I live in Texas. Let's be real. The last place that's going to do something like this is the state of Texas. Everything that California does is almost a precursor to let you know what Texas will not do. But either way, like I said, let the money be free. Now, I'm going to ask y'all some questions. Chat, I want to talk to y'all. Don't take nothing I say personal. But if this is a real thing, if this can put the black community on par financially, so you can map out a plan for the future, do it correctly, this is a big deal. Can we say that? Any kind of leg up you get to even the score financially is a big deal, but you got to take care. And here are my thoughts on this. Please do not give reparations in the form of raw cash. I know y'all are going to get tight about that. Give some cash. Give some cash. Don't give it all in the form of raw cash. Let me tell you the qualifying statement for this. Do y'all remember the beginning of the pandemic? At the beginning of the pandemic, they said they were giving out checks to people that qualified for them and all of that type of stuff. And me and my wife looked at each other and was like, all right, we ain't really getting shit. All right, cool. Don't hate on the people that need to keep their household afloat. They need to keep their food in their fridge, need to keep their lights on, et cetera, et cetera. Don't hate on those people. So everybody was getting checks from the government. Naturally, what do you think happened? I went into the Galleria here in Houston. I went to the Galleria right maybe a few weeks after something had gone wrong with my phone, or was I about to get a new phone? Something. I just wanted to see something with the phone. So I was going into the Samsung store. Forget you Apple folks. I don't like Apple. Galaxies are the best phones. Anyway, the line at the Louis Vuitton, the line, in fact, Gucci and all that stuff is on the same little corridor as the Samsung store, the Samsung Experience store. The line in all of these boutique stores out the freaking, just going all the way down the mall. I didn't know what was going on. Are they giving out free clothes? Are they giving out government checks? People spending their government checks. Spending your government check in these stores frivolously. I'm sad to say, you give out reparations that are, what were those checks? Like $1,200? And if every single black Californian received a payment out of that 800 million, it would be somewhere around $365,000 per person. What the hell do you think these people would do with that type of money? Raw cash. Listen, I'm not trying to get on anybody's nerves, but getting money like that does not make you financially responsible all of a sudden. Reparations for black people, in my opinion, in the form of cash, is going to make white people richer. Let me know if you disagree with what I just said. If you want to make white people more rich, Jeff Bezos' net worth went up when y'all got those checks. Elon Musk's net worth went up when y'all got those checks. All y'all did was buy shit, frivolous shit. That's all y'all did. Getting a lump sum of cash does not make you financially responsible. Proof? You want proof of this? I got proof. In fact, let me look it up so I can make sure I'm giving y'all accurate information. Lottery winners going broke. 70%, according to the National Endowment for Financial Education, 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within a few years. That black lady from a few years ago, less than 2 months ago, was on the news. That one that spent an insane amount of bail money to get her dude, not her husband, her dude out of jail. Already broke. Money gone. Hundreds of millions, I believe she won. Already gone. That's crazy. What do you think is going to happen if you give the entire black population, or at least in one state, a significant amount of money they did not acquire on their own? They're going to spend it. They're going to make white people richer. Ain't going to be nothing but Lambos, Teslas, Ferraris, Aston Martins running around this bitch. No, thank you. If you actually want a leg up in life, a leg up in society, you're going to have to give that in a few different ways. So my question to you, to the chat, to everybody, other than just raw cash, you can give some cash. What do y'all think they need to give black people in order for them to secure a better future for themselves and their family? What do you think? In what form should that come? I don't want to just take up all the space here. I want to talk to the people. What form do you think it should come to maintain responsibility for the people? Somebody said stocks. Jojo said stocks and land. Let me tell you why I agree. I don't even want to say stock. Don't give anybody any stock. They can tank stock. They can still control it. There we go. There we go. Home buying grants. There we go. Tax-free land. Yo, Demetrius Carter, you want to come up on the show, bro? Because you're killing today. This is what I'm talking about right here. Not only tax-free, don't even just give them the land tax-free. Give them tax-advantaged land. All right? Give them tax-advantaged land. Every tax benefit that is possible, give them that on that land. And I have to tell you this because this is something else. You can't sell this land that you're given. That's another bad habit Black people have. You give up the bag too quick. Someone gives you land. Guess who's coming behind you to make you a lowball offer on it? Zillow. A land developer. I'll give you a quick $1 million when knowing that land area is going to be valued at $15 million in 5 years. No, thank you. That land, when given, should not be able to be sold for at least 50 years. That's how you help Black people. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Home ownership. That's what I'm talking about. Home ownership. Give people a chance at building real generational wealth. Real generational wealth through home ownership. Every tax benefit possible you give people on their home. Drawful Grenade says land. Oh no, white people didn't acquire this money on their own. They did not. They used their benefits. In fact, they used tax benefits after they used other benefits to keep that money. Same thing I think needs to go for Black people. Land and healthcare for life. Oh, that's not bad. Healthcare for life is not a bad one. Not a bad one at all. Like I said, no stock. They control stock. They can tank stock. Don't give people stock. They'll find a way to give the cash back to themselves. To swing it back to themselves. Free education. I agree. Free education. I agree. Remove the land tax. Y'all are smart. I love the people in my chat, man. I love y'all. Education, land properties, hospitals, communities, banks. If we're going to give a bank, you got to give, I think, some of y'all, I got financial people in here, smart people be in my chat. You got to give that in the form of an endowment. It's a lot of money to start a bank. Trust me, some of my homies have tried. In fact, not only did they try to start a bank, they try to start an insurance company. I think to get an insurance company, your endowment got to be, if it's not hundreds of millions or 100 million, something like, it got to be $1 billion. I forget. Or you got to be a subsidiary of a bigger insurance company, something like that. But yes, the Black elite. I know these people. I got homies that try to start insurance companies. So you got to have one hell of an endowment for that. Business contracts. You need the cash to invest? Yeah, some cash. Give some cash. People love cash. You want to see at least some short-term benefit. But Miss Jill, the fact that I know you have a chocolate boutique, that you are industrious and entrepreneurial, that is not what most people, not even just Black people, most people are not like that. I'm like that. You like that. My wife like that. Most of the people in this chat are like that. But in the collective world, you give people money, they're just going to make the rich richer. That's what we're trying to stop, because that is the cycle going on in the Black community. The money in the Black community circulates hours before it's sent somewhere else. It's not going to stop just because you gave somebody over 300 grand. It might take 2 weeks for them to spend that damn money, if I'm being honest. Listen, when somebody said, what you going to do with your first $1 million? I said, my man, I could spend $1 million in a day. Put a 1 in the chat if you could spend $1 million in a day. I ain't going to spend it on BS. In fact, I'm not even going to talk about y'all buying a car because I need a new work truck. And these things are expensive. The truck I want is like 85 grand. I look at it every day like, the price drop yet? I ain't paying 85 grand. I want a GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, y'all go look that up. That's a bad mamma jamma right there. I'm gonna get one certified pre-owned. I'm sorry, I ain't like Anton. I ain't all these people dropping super bags. 85 grand for a work truck. That should better do my homework. Should better do my lectures for my students. What the hell? No property or income tax. That's what I'm talking about. Housing grants and stipends. That's what I'm talking about. Real wealth. 40 acres. Now let me talk about this acres. Once people give you land, you know you got to maintain it. How many of y'all think y'all can maintain 40 acres? I'm just saying. Y'all are going to be getting notices from the state. Clean yo. Can somebody come cut the grass? But let me tell y'all a quick story about why land is so important. Then we're going to move on. Land is such an important thing to pass on, especially if you know how to do it correctly. One of the guys that buys firearms from me, he actually came and picked a new one up the other night. Another Staccato XC. He keeps buying them, giving them away, buying them, giving them away. For those of y'all that don't know, Staccato XC is like 4,400 plus tax. He just got money like that. And when you see him, you're like, what does this dude do for a living? He owns a wrecker. You know, he tows people's cars. So you're like, where he makes this money towing people's cars? No, we have very deep conversations when he comes. He just starts talking. Hey man, what you doing? This weekend you need to come out and shoot. But you know, I teach gun classes on the weekend, so I can't always make it. If not doing that, doing something with the family. You know what I mean? So I'm never able. He says his family owns land about an hour outside, maybe an hour west, going towards San Antonio. He got, I'm sorry, two plot. They got in the north going toward Dallas. And this land that he has, he got cattle, so he pays a reduced amount of taxes. And he did something very smart. He lets people buy little plots of his land so they can farm their own food. Woo! He's generating income, and he don't even live there on neither of those plots of land. And every time he talks about how that it's a blessing that that land was passed down to him and his sister from whoever the fuck. That's generational wealth. Because when you see him, he's always coming off work, always got his, what is it, coverall on, dirty from towing cars all day. But this dude is paid because somebody left something for him, taught him how to make money on when he's not even there. That's generational wealth. Y'all need to concern yourself with that. Irrevocable trusts, land trusts. I'm not even a real estate guy. My real estate people in the chat, y'all could talk to them. Let them know. This dude said, farm your own food. I was like, damn, that's deep. That is deep. All right. What are some of the white feelings? Let me talk about the white feelings about reparations real quick. I only read one comment from the broadcast that I watched on it. So I hope y'all didn't think this was going to happen with no pushback. I'm not saying you need to care or concern yourself with the pushback, but I hope y'all didn't think there was going to be no pushback for black people, for black people getting reparations. I hope y'all didn't think there was going to be no pushback for this. IOT ACH. My man, how to? You better not. My man said, I like hearing about this. Grab your ACH and IOTV. I want to see who's better with these weapons. How to? How to? You know what? I'm not even going to talk shit. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. You pick. You pick. Long range, close range, pistol, rifle. I'm going to spank you either way, but I don't want to talk trash. Let's do it. Let's put those rounds down range. All right. I hope y'all didn't think there weren't going to be any white feelings about this. The comment that I pulled from the source that I mentioned earlier, just one comment, right? It wasn't like, you know, any of the super white supremacist comments or nothing like that. He's just like, and I quote, "So just so I understand, people who never owned slaves will have to pay for people who were never slaves in a state that was never a slave state." If that sounded super white to you, put a 1 in the chat. I was like, oh, no, he didn't. So just so I understand, people who never owned slaves will have to pay for people who were never slaves in a state that was never a slave state. That's crazy. That sounded super white. Everything. I mean, look, I'm not even a blackity black. You know, I don't even like blackity black people, if we're being honest. I hate you Umar Johnson type. I hate y'all blackity black types. Y'all talk too much. But even on this particular issue, if other people got it, goddamn, black people should get it too. Never thought I'd see the day, but I knew white people were going to have feelings about this. No doubt. They were going to have feelings about it. I mean, I wish these things were live so I could be like, man, just shut up. Tax dollars get used for all type of frivolous things anyway. And if you need a cash infusion, just go ahead and give black people cash and figure out a way to sell something. Unfortunately, you might even get them all the money back. But let's move on. So some of y'all seen the title. Cardi B is mad at Melanie King. Ooh. Cardi B is mad at Melanie King. She reported on this, or, you know, talked about this last night during one of her broadcasts. I thought this was particularly interesting. I like any topic. I absolutely love any topic where a ratchet goes against a lady. I said that. A ratchet, queen of the ratchets, actually. It might be debatable. If Cardi B is not queen of the ratchets, please let me know who is. Could it be Young Miami? Could it be Summer Walker? But, you know, it's, in terms of visibility, it might be Cardi B. The reason I love that matchup is because we talk all day on here. Fellas, we let people know how we feel about a lot. But I don't think it's as impactful as it should be unless a black woman says it too. I don't think people are really going to hear it until a lady steps in front and like, y'all tripping. Y'all need to listen. Y'all cutting up. And she does it with that grit face like, yeah, I said it. Y'all can say what y'all want about Melanie King. I think she's doing a fantastic job. She lets you know the mistakes she's made. And she's still standing at the forefront. I think there's something to be said about that. That's commendable. But let's take a look. Let me make sure I got the right video. Let's take a look at the video and then the response for Cardi B. Stand by.
Come outside with the blue hair, the eyelashes, the makeup, the everything.
Yes.
It just screams like she's just one of those girls, bro.
Hey,
City girls, like
Young
stripper
Miami.
culture, like that kind of shit.
Can
like,
I just say one thing to that?
You can't say nothing to that because I'm telling you how guys perceive it. So that's how we perceive it.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? What are you going to say that's going to negate what I'm saying?
I'm an artist, okay? So when I'm on stage, my lyrics, everything that I do, I represent Christ, I represent myself, and I represent beauty, and I represent black women that are bosses.
No,
Let me land.
No. You can't land no more. That boss stuff, a man does not want a woman who says she's a boss, sweetheart.
Insecure men don't want a boss.
No man. And I'm telling you, men who've conquered the world do not want this. But are they taking you home and saying, that's my wife?
Somehow.
There's a difference.
Somehow. That's
No. You got a rebuttal to everything, but you're not digesting. You're hearing, but not listening. You know why it's important for you to listen?
To you?
No, not to me.
Okay,
to wisdom. So you talked about being a Christian, but it says the older women need to teach the younger women, and younger women need to listen and be submissive. But you know how many young women are not submissive to what men say? But you say you're a Christian woman.
Okay.
You can't be a Christian woman and buck against what men are saying. That is anti-biblical, it's anti-God, it's anti-Christ, and it makes you the great whore of Babylon. That's what the
Yikes.
Bible
No, it
talks
doesn't.
about. I was raised in Christian school, Christian college, and I was in the church 4 days a week, all day on Sunday.
That doesn't mean anything.
No,
then.
it means something when I'm telling you scripture and you're bucking against it, and it's against the word of God. So don't claim God and Christianity,
against
but your
God?
attitude is bucking, and you cannot be quiet for one moment.
What
But
have I said that's
don't
against
ask me a
God?
question. Respond to what I said.
Okay, so what do you want me to
Don't
respond?
ask me a question. You hear, but you do not
Okay.
listen.
The great whore of Babylon? Damn. I got to learn how to do that. I got to learn how to insult without cursing. Golly. That hurt me. You didn't say the great whore of Houston. You didn't say the great whore of London. You went all the way biblical with it, so she couldn't refute what you were saying. The great whore of Babylon? God. Woo. I'm going to use that one, by the way, Melanie King. Permission to borrow. Permission to borrow that one. Damn. That lady called somebody the great whore of Babylon. But like I said, this is the discourse we need to see between women. I hope you ladies aren't thinking that men just like to watch women argue. What we need to see, I hope y'all didn't think ratchet culture was actually gonna take over the world. Somebody's gonna say something. When the image of all black people is at stake, somebody's gonna say something. The men would prefer these women stand in front. Y'all been too silent. A lot of y'all women behave like y'all scared of the sisterhood. Somebody got to be first out the gate. I see y'all, and I want to acknowledge y'all. Other women that are like Melanie King, y'all go ahead, put their names in the chat. Mods, promote their channel. Let people know who they should be listening to. And a woman that will buck against somebody who's bucking against the system. These ladies need to be recognized. I see you. We start the work, but we need y'all to finish it. We need y'all to bring it home. These ladies think we're bullying them when we're trying to talk to them. Don't be afraid of the sisterhood. In fact, the sisterhood afraid of you. If we want to be honest, these ratchets are afraid of you. Man, drop every single lady in the chat. Every single lady that you can go to get this good knowledge that you think puts up a good defense for marriage and good behavior and ladyhood, as we like to call it. A gentle lady. Let them know who's lit, who will light anybody ass up. All right. But anyway, let me bring this up real quick. So Cardi B decided to comment she retweeted somebody's comment. She said, "Pick-me's are the worst. This woman is crazy to be talking to her like that. These podcasts need to be banned." Let me tell y'all my feelings about this. Let me read it again, and I'm going to tell y'all my feelings about this. Pick-me's are the worst. This woman is crazy to be talking to her like that. These podcasts need to be banned. Do you see? I don't know if y'all notice. Every once in a while, you'll hear me calling women communists. These women that say stuff like this are communists. We live in the United States of America. One of the most basic pillar, essential pillar of our democracy is freedom of speech. But you see these women, when they don't like what you're saying, they won't just say they don't like it. They won't just tune out or turn to another channel. They want to get your channel removed. Do you know where they do stuff like that? Communist countries. These women are communists. These podcasts should be banned. The hell out of here, lady. I wish you were standing right next to me so I could ask my wife to slap you. Just shut up. You can turn the channel. You cannot engage. You cannot partake. You cannot be a view. You cannot be a like. But let people say what the hell they want to say. Everybody. Y'all got it backwards. If we're going to go back to the subject of white supremacy, I want to know who the white supremacists are. Stop trying to silence them. I want to know who they are, where they stay. I want them to walk proudly. So when they walk down my block, I say, I'll light your ass up. Take your white supremacy back over there. Don't be shy about it. Let me know so I can draw the line in the sand. This is my side. Stay on your side. Y'all want these people to be quiet. That's why they out here moving in silence and running amok on y'all ass, canceling contracts on y'all ass, devaluing your property. You can't find them because you told them to go hide. I want to know where all of them at. All of them. Show yourself. Speak freely. None shall bother you. But I'm going to have a response. Pick-me's are the worst. I bet you'd rather be a pick-me than a pass-me, dumbass. And then Cardi B. Who the fuck is she talking to? Queen of the Ratchets. I ain't even gonna, how to, man, I'm not even gonna read your super chat once I seen the second line. I'll play it with you, but hey, look, how to, man, is the only dude that got a hair that will have a further back hairline. This dude be practicing Mitch's direction. His hairline is further back than I am, but he always talk about my hairline. That's misdirection for your ass. He a magician. All right, but that's all I had on the Cardi B. What do y'all think, man? I know some of y'all don't feel a certain way about Melanie, and y'all like to put everybody through this liberal, progressive, moral litmus test. But that woman is willing to tell you about her mistakes. And if you're a black woman that fancies yourself a pillar in the black community that loves black men, how about you show us every once in a while? If y'all out here caping for Black China, you can't be out here caping for Black China and got a problem with Melanie King. You can't be out here trying to redeem Black China, but you got a problem with Melanie King. I'm not even that big of, like, I barely watch her stuff, but it seems as of lately, she ain't afraid to go against the grain, and I respect that. She ain't afraid to go against the sisterhood. I respect that. Tell you straight to your face, you the great whore of Babylon. I got respect for that. No cap. I got respect. All right. Moving on. I got a question for y'all. And let me get through the end of it because some of y'all are so goddamn. Yeah, some of y'all are so sensitive. Just let me get to the end of it before you respond. I got a question, man. Is black excellence real? All right. I hate the phrase black excellence. I hate it. Let me explain. Let me explain this though. Because most of you have heard the phrase white trash. Throughout your life, you've heard the phrase white trash. The phrase white trash hints that white people are generally expected to be more than trash. Does it not? Am I wrong? Let me know. Put it in the chat if you're like, no, you're wrong, Mike. But the phrase white trash hints that white people are generally expected to be more than trash. So, alternatively, I don't like the term black excellence because it suggests that black people are typically something other than excellent. Do you see where I'm going with this? I don't like the term black excellence. I don't like it at all. Excellence is excellence, and trash is trash. I hate when y'all say it. Diddy used to say, oh God, he used to say it the most. Black excellent right here. It's black excellent right here. God damn. Shit was cringy to me, man. Excellence is excellence, and trash is trash. Let me show you this video on why it just popped up in my head to speak on this topic today. Charlemagne does say it a lot too. And I think as much as I am a elitist, as people like, I won't hide it from you. I am an elitist. I don't think the black elite should wait till they become elite to start saying shit like black excellence. I think they're secretly shitting on the people in their community where they came from, but I digress. Let me show you this video real quick on why I decided to talk on this topic. And take a look at it. You ladies, y'all are gonna like this. Hold on.
Resident physician. Dermatologist.
Lawyer.
Resident physician. Lawyer. Flight attendant. I'm a city girl live from Miami.
I'm B. Bride, and I'm a plastic surgeon, resident physician.
Clap it up for all those beautiful black women. Even the city girl. I don't know what the fuck she said that shit for, but anyway. Even the city girl. I don't know why you want to be around all those accomplished ass women. And you gonna call yourself a city girl. Shame on you. That wasn't funny. Nor was it advisable to do so, but you did it. Play a little ass violin for your ass. All right. Excellence is excellence and trash is trash. Hold on real quick. It says TSR Black Excellence. Come on, Black Excellence. This bridal party said heavy on the beauty and brains. All right. I'll give you that. These were beautiful, accomplished black women. They were mostly doctors. I think I played it a little into it. So there was like 3 doctors at first. Then a few lawyers and other high-level women, all high-earning women. All things we like to see. I don't speak against that. I promote it, and in fact, in my house, it's required. So there you go. The black elite, it definitely exists. And you don't even know. You're a part of the black elite sometimes until you check out your network. All right. You don't even know you're a part of it till you check out your network, and everybody you rolling with is elite. But these circles, you don't stumble. My ultimate point is you don't stumble across these circles by accident. You don't stumble across these circles by accident. This is purposeful. My message to young black girls, young black boys is birds of a feather flock together. Did you notice an entire bridal party of high-earning women? All right. Birds of a feather should flock together. Brilliance, excellence. All these people need to find each other. That's what your bridal party or groomsmen party is supposed to look like. That's the only point I wanted to make. Let me drop this link so y'all can come up. How to, man, bring your shit talking ass up here. And address you in person, my guy. But yeah, man, those were beautiful women. Birds of a feather need to flock together. All of these ladies, if you'll notice, were inside of the same profession. Imagine what that group of people together, excellence, not black excellence. I hate that damn term. Excellence can look out for each other. Excellence can make copies of themselves. You see that group? They can help each other out. One is having issues in their residency, needs some advice, they can call another one. I'm very proud when I see stuff like that. It happens for black men too, by the way. We're kind of absent from medicine right now, but that's a care field. Many men, even the men that were doctors in the past, didn't even really want to be. They just do it for the prestige. Let me bring up the panel. What's going on, Mr. Rich? How to, man? Give me a thumbs up. I know you're in the car. All right.
How you doing,
What's
Mike?
going on? Good afternoon to you.
All right.
Hey, man, how you gonna not read my supers, man? How you just gonna ignore my fucking super
supers
chats?
right now with your silly ass super chats, but let me read those right now. Mr. Rich, $10. Appreciate that. I believe all kinds of quotes are going around, but it is not Cali. It is mainly San Fran. said 5 million for 50K people. That's 250 billion. It's pacifier stuff to keep the natives busy. What is that last word?
That last one is supposed to be busy. I forgot what I meant there. Somehow misspelling. I don't know what I was trying to say.
EBD, let me get all right, bet. My man Tarus, $10. The woke white liberals were about to hand out people cash, yet the organizations that are supposed to represent us blocked it. We are our own worst enemy. You're going to have to expound on that. That's crazy.
Right now?
Rich,
I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. As great with whores gold, that was gold. How true, man? $5. Real talk, Mike. The only person I fear is God and Trigger Mike's barber. If he did Mike like that and he cool with him, think what he do to you. Can't stand this guy. How to, man? Kingdom Minded, $10. My husband and I have farmland. Our parents and grandparents are living. They are set financially. What would they do with 50-year land trust? They aren't going to college. Cash would be better for 60 and plus. Oh, that might be a good idea to make it based off of age group. Didn't think about that.
A damn thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, we know, but it's a topic of discussion. I didn't think they'd get as far as a task force. You know what I'm saying?
Why do we know it's not going to happen? We all said there wasn't going to be.
How to man $5.
Block that shit.
Mike's barber is a capitalist. He'll charge for anything. Mike paid him $50 for malpractice. Y'all getting these jokes until you read these. My guys, a whole comedian. All right, we're gonna start with you, Mr. Rich. Opening thoughts.
Listen, I mean, I think some of the other things about reparations, I could agree with if we're talking about reparations. But even in your I was going to say diatribe, but even in your monologue, you were talking about things that had nothing to do that were after slavery, like all the wrongs they did to Tuskegee experiments, all the bad shit white people have done to us, Jim Crow, all that kind of stuff. Now we want to get paid for that. I mean, listen, I don't mind. Well, first of all, then you said something like you could put all that money right in all the black people's hands. In 6 months, it will be right back in all the white people's hands, based on how people spend. Well, but this should be more tangible shit that we call reparations. If we went in fighting for, like for example, a tax break for blacks for the next 20 years or next 2 generations, saying no matter what, I don't believe in everything should be zero, but let's just say a 10% flat tax, period, across the board. For 2 generations. That's something you could measure. That's something that's not like you got to pay for it all up front. I think we got some other things. Somebody mentioned something about health insurance, education. I think closing a loophole in the 13th Amendment. I think closing private prisons and putting those judges in jail who took graft and kickbacks from those private prisons to give blacks elongated sentences. There's a lot of that shit. So why does it have to just be pure money in order for people to get satisfaction? Let me just tell you, that shit's not going to happen. It's just not going to. It's just a waste of time. They're putting pacifiers in people's mouths so they can just shut the fuck up and get out of here thinking they're making progress. What legislative body do you know of is going to take $250 billion? This is what the $5 million apiece in San Francisco would have came out to with the 50,000 people there, and give it to anybody. In the backdrop of watching all those stores close and watching black people steal shit off the shelves, why would I give that fucking guy $5 million? Why would I get those assholes breaking down?
Because he's older.
Wait, let me just finish.
And they was about to get it too. Like, what are you talking about?
They're not going to get no goddamn $5 million.
Yeah, because our own people blocked it. That's why.
There's no.
Oh no, I got to hear about this. Go
ahead, Cook.
Bro, did y'all not read the bill? I was watching the live stream of the policies and everywhere. Them woke white liberals was about to hand out cash, and the NAACP blocked that crap because they had a laundry list of crap. Let's be clear. They wanted to funnel all that money through the organization, just like a corrupt organization like BLM, and they blocked that legislation from going through to the state. Those woke white liberals was about to pass all that crap, and it got blocked by our own people Man, you better go look it up, man.
NAACP ain't our people. They're woke white liberals too. They run by the hard ass.
Man, they just did an interview with the black guy who represents the person that blocked it. What are you talking about, man? Go watch the news.
I'll watch that. Let me tell you. Don't we realize that our biggest enemies are white people in blackface?
How? When white people were about to pass the bill and black people passed it, you can't be saying that, man.
We got
all right, let's get opening thoughts. Let's get opening thoughts and individual.
We can talk some more, brother. On this one.
How to, man? What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. I'm about to jump off in a second, but I wanted to say you hit the nail on the head earlier because I was disagreeing with you at first. But reparations needs to include multiple things, right? So you can't have reparations unless you have cash. There needs to be something that makes land available. There needs to be something that makes education almost impossible not to access, right? So you pretty much need to give a fucking GI Bill to every motherfucker that look like you and I, right? For doing nothing, right? And the other part is, I just got two other points. Number one, all of the shit that you look at and say, well, this isn't slavery, but it's an objective wrong that was done unto black people. Yeah. Redlining, gerrymandering, the prison industrial complex, COINTELPRO, cracking the black communities, the chain gangs right after slavery, people being locked up for pretty much essentially nothing, right? Just for not having a fucking job, which they wouldn't, right? Right after that, right? A laundry list of shit, right? That was done, that compounded on top of the ills of slavery, right? All right. All of that shit is the thing that needs to be repaired. And reparations root word is repair, right? Whatever the fuck you thought reparations was, it's all about repairing, right? Engaging in repairs. So you're not just repairing the damage due to slavery, but all of the things that followed slavery as well. And then the other thing is, we need to come together as a collective and actually settle on some shit and get some shit done, right? Rather than bickering amongst each other. We love to bicker amongst each other over the minutia of what the fuck is going on, rather than
let me get a thumbs up.
The root cause is how to.
Yeah, we love to bicker with each other over the minutia of what the fuck is going on, rather than focus on just the end state, right? And that's one thing that they got right in the military. I don't give a fuck. Well, in Spec Ops, they got that right. I can't speak for the regular army. They be doing dumb shit. But
we do.
It's all about the end state, right? End state matters. How the fuck you get there? I don't give two shits. If you had to kill a million people to get to the end state that we was looking for, you did the fucking right thing, right? And that's where we need to get to. But we'd rather fight about, this little detail that's largely irrelevant, or that little detail that's largely irrelevant, and dismiss all of the shit that is pertinent and relevant. It's crazy. Niggas mystify me.
You know what? You made a good point. And when we really think about it, as far as, because people say, well, all this stuff that they cited had nothing to do with slavery. It all traces back to being a descendant of slaves. So all the wrongs that were done were just compounding wrongs off on the, African descendants of slavery. So, yeah, I think as far as people could make a task force to outline what should be involved in it, I think they did a good job. Tarus, let's get your thoughts on it. Opening thoughts.
Yeah, man. Look, I just want to show you guys definitive proof that you need to have way more faith in Black people's ability to do the right thing with some of these programs. And here's why. You know what I mean? Because this house right here, I got this with my VA home loan, and I did the right thing. I paid my mortgage. My ride right there, BMW X5. I pay my freaking bills on time. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we need to start talking better about each other, because I want all my Black men to be rolling around like I am. I want us arguing about dumb crap like whose ride is better, you know what I mean, whose barbecue skills is better, and all that other crap. The thing is that when you look at what the NAACP was asking for, they had a laundry list of crap they demanded after they rejected the proposal, and it was like, Payne, that's what I wanted to ask you about, or I wanted to tell you, because when you look at the laundry list, that's a bunch of crap that will never get passed. Closing private prisons? Do you really think white people are about to close private prisons? Absolutely not. We need either a housing grant, something like about 500K, right? And then we're allowed to either buy a plot of land. That 500K could either go to a house that needs to be renovated, flipped, or we build brand new. Or if people already have their land or have their home, then give them the cash payment, right? I don't want any of this other feel-good crap, because the feel-good crap, that gets funneled into organizations that get Black Lives Matter, right? That's going to get funneled to an organization. They're going to go buy a mansion with it that none of us are allowed to hop up into, right? The NAACP is going to get funneled to the organization that none of us are going to allow to be tapped into. No. Hey, I want the housing grant. Or
can I ask you a question before I go?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, so I noticed that you was in the military, and Trigger Mike, you was in the military as well, right?
Yeah.
You was in the Army, Trigger Mike?
Navy.
Nate, all right, well, that almost counts. Taurus, you was in the Army?
Yeah, 8 years active.
All right. Airborne. Now, Trigger Mike's service almost counts. You were in the service. You guys.
Do that on my show. I'll drop you at. Don't do that.
Oh, my fault. So, Trigger Mike engaged in a lesser form of service, but you engaged in. But my ultimate question was: I noticed you gentlemen were both about the same age.
Oh, what happened?
Mike.
Military service again. Talk to me about my service again.
All right. Let me try it again civilly. I noticed that you guys were about the same age, so I wanted to know if you guys got any different game than what I may have gotten in the military during your time in service that could be useful for the crowd or for Black people in general to know about. Anything except for your bar, because I take it, you went to see Trigger Mike's, and we see how that turned out. It almost turned out that bad for Trigger Mike, but
Hey, man, your opening statement, by the way, hey, nice meeting you, man. It was really good. And I know sometimes we could get a little bit too patriotic with this military service and things like that, but we got to remember, like, I deployed twice to Iraq, 20 years old, and then my second deployment was I was 23. You know what I mean? And one thing you notice is that nobody's racist when the same people are shooting bullets at you, right? All of a sudden, nobody cares about that skin tone crap when you got to depend on each other's survival, right? And that totem, I think that's what we missing. Like that renewed American spirit is what we need, and not just on some like patriotic stuff, but just really just as men, first as Black men, and then we need to level that up to just American men. Because right now, man, we lost. We're lost right now. We need help.
Indeed.
Anything that'll help us stop bickering back and forth and doing each other dirty, like Trigger Mike's barber.
You want to get dropped?
I would say how to.
Mike, I'm about to hit.
Just to answer that question real quick.
Disagreements or just a difference of opinion argument. I think we need to be careful with that. We have to have various views. If I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me, that doesn't mean we're arguing. We just don't agree on a topic. So we gotta be able to ease up on each other when we talk about kind of stuff, because we don't have to. I don't have to be right. I just have an opinion.
I think Black men, we need to make sure that the first thing we do to come together, especially specifically for Black men, we need to take every single constitutional right just as seriously as the next. The First Amendment matters just as much as the second. The second matters just as much as the third, fourth, fifth. If we allow government to try to take away one right, the entire Constitution falls around us. So we all need to practice our rights as much as possible. That's step one.
EBD, open the thoughts, bro.
So A couple things. I mean, I like a lot of what's been said here, and then I disagree with some. For instance, I believe like reparations like will happen only because I mean, it wasn't until COVID happened where everyone can actually, the government can write a check and disperse it to, among everyone equally. So now we know reparations can work just as fast. So the how is already taken care of, and the why we should already know. Um, Now, what I disagree with is the talking point that once Black people have reparations, we're going to do something stupid with money, which is ridiculous. I think we're going to be starting. There are going to be a couple billionaires. We're going to have our own industry for vehicles, for construction, for engineering, for government, for law, for education. All those things, all those wheels will start to turn. And sooner or later, reparations is going to turn into a child, a Black man or a Black boy that can wake up and can move through the United States and have Black-owned everything. Go to a Black-owned store, go to a predominantly Black school that's well-funded or private school, get a job where the bosses are Black, coworkers are Black, things like that. That's what reparations can do for number one. Number two, I think that when we talk about laws and things and what will or won't happen, in America, where the Constitution, the founding document, decree African people, especially the men, that we are less than human beings, to see one sitting in the highest office for 8 years is something that wasn't really designed when the founding fathers, with a bunch of white guys got together. Their idea was not to have a Black man in the White House. That wasn't their idea, but we did it anyway. So we've already seen what's not possible. We've lived it. So when we talk about reparations, which is just basically a bunch of whether it be money, it'll come in different forms. It'll come in government land that we own. It'll come in cities that we can operate, mayors, governors. It'll be just as an equitable power as our other counterparts already have. The small hat community, they have theirs. The Japanese, they have theirs. The Native Americans, they have theirs. We will be getting ours. It's just a matter of time. I don't think it's a matter of if.
And my bad for coming in hot, man. This topic about coming together just gets me passionate, man. I love talking, like trying to get it up, man. You know what I mean?
I got questions for EBD. So EBD, your opening statement, you said that Black people you don't believe are going to do anything stupid with the money. So, in your opinion, would you say that Black people are good with money generally?
They're good with the money that they have.
Okay, so are you aware that Black people by 2050, the net worth of the Black community will be $0?
Well,
so
I think
I was going to say, technically, by definition, Black people are bad with money. And my ultimate point was that if you're bad with a little bit of money, you're definitely going to be bad with a lot of it.
If I came from a race of people in which all wealth is shifted to mine for hundreds of years, I mean, how can you what you're saying is that if Black people were in the position of white people in the United States with all this land, all this wealth, intergenerational wealth, and then we lost it, I would say that argument.
No. So you remember I said that's the form you need to give it to. Don't give them raw cash. Don't give them raw cash. And then I qualified it by saying, like, all of the payments that people got in total, because not everybody lost their job. Not only did they get checks from the government, they got plus up payments on unemployment, which were so substantive in a household that people didn't go back to work, right? So people were running the checkup even with a job. And where's that money? They saved absolutely none of it.
You talking about during COVID?
They were in front of the Gucci store, Louis Vuitton store. In fact, it wasn't just Black people, by the way. PPP loans, like everybody that qualifies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I see around my neighborhood?
Aren't you purposely ignoring the Black people that did really good with all that stimulus money, though?
Right. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I'm not ignoring that, but it's too few. It's too few of those people that do well with money.
It's an evolutionary thing, correct? I mean, we have examples all around us with people who have money and lose it within a few years. And we could just talk about sports athletes. right? I mean, these guys are making millions of dollars they're going through in record time. And, so they're just a microcosm of the way people handle money in general. Now, you're right, EBD. Idealistically, there's going to be some black people who are going to take advantage of this thing, but it's going to be in the percentage of our population and how we handle money. And we know the percentage of our population handling money is horrible.
I just don't see. I guess with all of
without other education.
Let me also make my ultimate point. Let me also make my ultimate point, y'all, because yes, they're like my ultimate goal and what's ideal is that black people make strides, like you start to build generational wealth with that money, but you got to be careful because the first thing, like if you give a substantial amount of money like that, you're literally just going to make white people richer. That's the part where it's like you'll take something as groundbreaking as reparations, and even that gets stolen from you in the form of predatory lending, marketing, undercutting you for the land that you were given. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. They're literally going to put together an onslaught to take all that money from the people if they're not smart with it.
Right.
Here's the ultimate problem. We're only 13% of the population. So in order to build up our communities, we're going to have to break bread with white people. That's unavoidable.
Yeah,
like you get what I mean?
For business.
Yeah, I'll say break bread. No, naturally. Break bread. Don't make them the middleman. In fact, cut the middleman.
Right.
You become the entity and all of that. You can purchase products, materials to build and sell your own all of that. So you're going to have to involve them in the economy, in your own economy. What I'm saying is somehow we always give them their money to make them the entity again. I'm not for that.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case with reparations. Reparations is different because you don't see any other community that's received reparations saying or having this, oh, well, they just gave their money back. That's what they did when they got it. So why is it? So wait. So why is it that when it's Africans who have suffered this for hundreds of years, why is it that whenever we talk about the Japanese who got their reparations in their country, look what they did with it. Look at the Israelis, look what they did with it. Wait. Look at what the Native Americans, they still live here in this country. Look what they're doing with it. Why is it that with black people,
ask you a question, EBD. I'm gonna ask you a question.
We always talk about black people. It's always we're gonna piss it away.
Hold on. No.
Right.
But hold on, EBD. Let me push back. What's the one thing all of those ethnic groups got that the black community doesn't?
Like representation.
Intact family, man. Come on, bro.
Well is it that?
I thought you was going to go somewhere else with that, Mike.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wait. So intact families, isn't that a form of representation?
Let me give you the qualifying statement.
Okay.
I absolutely believe. So this is the funny thing. I think I said this. No, I said it in the back chat. My bad. Black people with having nothing did family better post-slavery than every other ethnic group of people in America. Right. So with intact family, we can do better than everybody.
Right.
That's on God. We could do it.
Right.
We don't have that at the moment. So individuality,
because that was systemically taken from us from generations.
Yeah, I understand.
Through
but
law.
What I'm saying is without that family structure to build community, because remember, community is a group of families, not a group of individuals, contextually for this argument. If we focus on that first and actually make strides to make that happen, that money will be better spent. Absolutely.
Okay. So with that argument, with it being families, don't you think that if reparations happen, black men and black women would find a way to work things out as far as relationships?
Whoa. What happens when you empower black women, especially with money?
Right.
Go ahead.
No. I understand the
black
modern
women out here killing it right now. What you mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
But isn't there? What is their complaint about the men? Like they don't have anything. They don't have wealth. They don't have
women. Hold on, because I'm not even gonna go negative there. Black women are killing it by themselves. The ultimate thing is you empower a man, especially with money. He creates a family. You empower a woman, especially with money. She destroys it. Prove me wrong.
I don't think that generalization that black women are killing is
I don't think it's accurate either, Mr. Rich.
I don't think so either.
The stats say that black women are out here more educated. They're having less children because they're more educated. They got better credit scores.
More abortions.
Hold on, Truth. Everything you're saying is basically giving them an excuse not to create and stay in the family structure. That's the issue.
I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. Like, for example, I don't tie myself to my economic productivity as my value as a masculine man. Like, I've been married for 15. Well, I've been married for 15 years, and when I met my wife, she made more than me. So you know what I mean? Like women don't value those same sort of things. Now, you got to also remember, this is America. It's expensive to freaking live here. You know what I mean? So there's certain aspects of what a man has to do. But just to bring it back to the conversation, I just got way more faith in my fellow Black men to do the right thing with reparations, because guess what? Did we not see the Irish who came over here poor as hell and make something out of themselves? The Scottish, the Italians, everyone else. See, the only thing that's different from our demographic compared to all the other demographics in this country is that we're the only demographic who did not come to this country by choice. Everyone else came through their own accord, whether they had money or not. We were the only ones who were forcefully placed here. We're transplants. That's the biggest difference.
And we're never given wealth.
Hey,
that's what land is. Wait, that's what land is.
We got to get Smitty in here.
Let's finish. Yeah, go around the horn.
Smitty, let's get in here. Our bad for keeping you waiting, bro.
Nah, man, I'm loving it, bro. I like to listen first, bro. Respect. All right. From what I'm hearing so far. All right, so can y'all hear me clear?
Yes.
All right, just making sure. All right, cool. So my view on this thing so far is, all right, one, I do believe that, yes, we should get reparations, get that out the way. Only reason why is because, yes, it's very true. Every other culture who's come here, from Asians got something written up, Native Americans, Spanish people got something written up, and why not? Why not cut the check for us? Trigger Mike, I definitely agree with you, bro. 1000%. Do not give us cold cash. Do not do it. It's like the drug addict dudes, you know, in front of the store. Hey man, let me just look, I just need $10, get something to eat. All right, come on in here with me and I'll order it for you. Nah, just let me get bro. Come on in. Well, you said you hungry, right? I'll get you the food. I'm gonna make sure you eat. So my whole thing with that, yeah, definitely. No, we don't spend money right. We don't. We squander it. Now, when it comes to the land, well, I'm so nervous about that, because how many of us have been left grandma's home or something down south, whatever it is, and what we do, we sell it. We sell it. We don't keep the land, bruh. We don't know how to cultivate. We know nothing about tilling the soil, bro. We know nothing about these things, most of us. Not enough of us for it to be a substantial number in which we can make a difference in something. Majority of us is going to squander it. So yeah, I would say the trick to that would be, how do we disperse it? And how do we get it? Should we get it? Yes, but how? That's the trick right there. I don't have that answer. You know, so I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm really on the line of, like, me personally, like my grandfather, you know, because I hear us always saying we were all brought here. My father's side, you know, Cuban descent. Because I did a little check, you know, what's that, ancestry or something, whatever. So I checked my whole lineage out. So my grandfather's side, he, my mother's father, who was in the Korean War, he's like 80% Plamunky, Native American, West Virginia. So look, right, I wound up getting a check. I got a check for $485 one day, one time, just because I had a certain percentage of Native American in me. So that's wild, bro, how they give out checks. If you can claim and if you can prove you have a certain percentage of Native American in you, bro, you will get a one-time check. I think somewhere around $500, maybe more, depending on how much you got in you.
Right? Smitty, can I tell you a really bad?
I'm landing it right here, wheels down. Y'all just take it away, bro. I just want to continue to listen. And so the one thing that I say to myself that I don't know if I'm the only one that's heard about this, right? It's real weird. So it's like, I hear that reparations are being given out, because from what I'm hearing, they're giving our single women like $1,000 a month or something, like $1,000 or whatever. So
pregnant.
Where? Oh, okay. Well, where's Dad's check? I don't understand. So I think reparations are coming out, because remember when Ice Cube said it? Remember Vivica and them? They tried to block that. He said, I want to do something for the black people. But they say, no, what about the black women? He said, well, aren't y'all black? So I think they went on ahead and passed that legislation through. So other than that, I digress. My mic is muted, man. Respect.
Let me jump out here real quick, bro. Let me get my
King Spark. What's going on, bro?
Let me get my thoughts out here real quick, man. What's going on to the panel, man?
All right.
Man, what the hell is y'all talking about, man? First of all, if these people give us some money, y'all better figure out what the hell we need to do with that money. Okay, all this wishful thinking about, well, hopefully they give us a land grant and hopefully they'll give us stock and all this shit. They don't even want to give us the goddamn money. Okay, they don't even want to do that. So to think for 1 second that the powers that be, okay, they have no interest in reconfiguring the power structure in this country, okay? So anything that you think is gonna make black people have long-lasting wealth and move the needle and all that shit, they not thinking that, okay? What we should be trying to figure out is if they give us some cash, what we could do to make a stance in this country and how we can come together with that cash and how we can link up to make a difference. All that other wishful ass thinking is just hot air, to be honest with you. That's all I got.
Man, King Spark, you know how many times somebody has said that, man. That how thing, it's not, I don't think it's feasible. Like, I don't disagree, but that's just wishful thinking at this point.
Guys, do y'all realize that the majority of black people who get reparations just do the right thing by living like normal Americans? Successful program. Like, we don't need to do all this come together and kumbaya. We just got to buy a crib and live normal lives and pay our bills with that jump start. We don't need to do all that. You do have
a point, to Roos, because the method is clear. In fact, what's actually more, I don't know about the sustainability of doing it as an individual. But when you see a black man and a black woman get married, first objective number one, if they don't live in a savory area, they get out of that area and move to a better one so their kids could go to a better school. That's why I keep saying, if y'all bring y'all ass out here to the suburbs, the black people are doing the same, if not better, than their counterparts. Okay, they drive better cars, they have everything. We talk about 401ks, we talk about land, our conversations either are the same or far surpass that of our peers. So I agree with you there, but I always agree it needs to be in the family.
Right.
It needs to be.
Tarun, let me ask you a question real quick, Tarun. Let me ask you a question. Okay, the only problem with what you said is now the question is what the hell is going to be considered a normal life? Is that X5 a normal life? Is that regular?
No, but I busted my ass to get it. I busted my ass to get it.
So here goes the problem with what you said, though, right? So if you said we get the money and we just live a normal life, who is going to decide what is considered a normal life? Because some of these fools, most of these fools, right, think a normal life is X5, Gucci, Louis, and everything else that comes with it.
No, that's living outside of their means. That's not
the normal. American dream is your individual American dream. You understand that? Like, for example, I didn't buy this X5M I got in the parking lot. I didn't buy that until I got the crib first. Then I bought the ride. Right?
Yeah, right. Just as much as I'm inside of my brick and mortar business, I understand what the dream is.
Most Americans and most black men already know those things. So if we get reparations, most black men, guess what we're going to do? We're going to buy a crib, right? We're going to live normal lives. And then all of a sudden, man, it just flows from there. Like, we don't really need our hands held. And sometimes I hate it when we talk like we need our hands held for everything.
No, we don't need our hands held, but let Kine go because he said, let him speak. We'll get into the conversation. Ekene, I'm sorry.
No worries.
This is my, I love this conversation because I've been dying to hear this on this panel. Check this out, okay? This is the problem. And this is the problem. I got to say this first. All of you are 100% right. From your perspective, your views, your opinion are all part of the solution. To reiterate what you guys said earlier, The worst thing to do is to give black people cash. Don't do that. Once you do that, guess who is going to get all that money back? White people.
White people.
Because look at this. Look at what they did. Whenever they gave in 2018, when Republicans lost the House, right? They gave close to $2 trillion to rich white folks. Did price go up? No. Did inflation go up? No. Inflation actually went down. You know why? They took that money, reinvested it into their portfolio to increase their wealth. But look at what happened 2020 when COVID hit. Poor people got the money. As stupid as poor people and middle class do, they went buying Lamborghini. They went buying houses. They went buying cars. They went buying stuff. Guess what happened? Inflation went up. So the worst thing you can do to somebody is to give him cash, just like a drug addict at the gas station. Never give him money, buy him food. If you give what black people need, number one is land. White people not going to give you land because they know the value of land goes up. And it doesn't go down, but it might level and go down a little bit, but goes up. Because that will make it to start real estate. That is different. But they need to give black people need to teach each other skills on how to do financial management. I got to tell you the bitter truth. Black people in America are 50 years away from mastering financial management. Because the reason why, we have 75% of kids out of wedlock. And of those 75%, almost 60% of that don't have fathers involved in the house, which means there is no financial discipline. And even the ones that have fathers involved in the house, a lot of them, their fathers don't even have financial discipline. So that's a problem. So we are far away. So what we can do right now in order to mitigate the situation is to use panel like this to start educating people on how to do financial management. And number three, black people don't travel out of the country. White people went all over the whole world in search of resources because they know America doesn't have resources. They went all over the world in search of resources. When I talk to an average black person, they say, oh, I don't need to go nowhere. I can stay in America. I can stay in America. I can do my shit in America. America has everything. No, America don't have nothing. Every resource that is used in this country in producing things come from foreign countries. America is a producing country, not a resource country. So I got to tell you guys this. We have to travel more. We have to study more. We have to learn financial discipline more. We have to talk about it. Reparation through financial means is bad. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. But what we got to ask them to do is this. We need contracts. Give contract to black businesses. Black people have to start applying for contract because a lot of black people don't apply for federal contract. They don't. We got to start applying for federal contract, apply for contract, bid contract, win contract, and employ 70% black people. White companies employ 65% minimum white people.
Y'all so know how unrealistic that sounds, guys. Come on, y'all know how unrealistic.
No, I know. Guess what? Nothing is. You might sound unrealistic to you, but one thing about life is this: once you put something in motion that is unrealistic,
hold on,
Penicillin was unrealistic.
Hold on, because that's actually not unrealistic at all. So
that's what I'm trying to tell him. It's not unrealistic.
People not applying for government contracts, even though many of them can have these type of businesses, is 100% true. Now, here's the funny thing about it: if you go look at what Trump put in place, opportunity zones and all of these things, it's actually tax advantaged and just like affirmative action for black people to win those contracts.
Mike, the only problem is not every black person owns a business or wants to be a business owner.
No, it's not that. What he's saying, because he followed it up by saying hire. It can be a business of any type. It could be a clothing store. It could be somebody who produces textiles, somebody who makes bricks, someone who gives the material for sneakers, anything that people are already doing, you can hire black people to do. What I'm saying is you don't have to be the business owner, but once you start hiring people for marketing, all of that, you can make sure those people are black too. So I think that was the most realistic thing I heard.
That sounds like that diversity equity stuff where the corporations promised they were going to hire a bunch of black people and didn't.
Well, if a black person is the head, then they get to hire whoever they want.
Well, if they're the head, that means they're going to be business owners. And
let me say this real quick, right? Let me say this real quick so that I can let the other person have the floor. The mistake we're going to make as a people is to think that we cannot. Don't ever, like I said earlier, black companies, let black-owned business win those contracts. Black-owned people should be able to employ mostly black people. Because I got to tell you, go to every white company that is owned by a white man, is mostly hired, white people are mostly hired. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, they are mostly whites. I'm telling you the real truth.
Sir. They're the majority demographic.
But guess what? We can hire mostly blacks on our own business and flip as long as you hire certain amount of people, the government can't come against you. It doesn't matter the demographics. But I gotta tell you, let's stop these things that we say that, oh, black people can't do this, black people can't do that. I gotta tell you something, right? United States can create 500 black billionaires in 5 years if they want to.
Yeah.
There are 4,000 white billionaires in this country. 4,001 billionaires. They can create 500 black billionaires if they want to. But black people have to get serious about it. Because no matter how much they give us, it's not going to make any difference. We have to be the one to take that first step. We have to create our business. I have 3 businesses that are going to blow up in the next few years. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going against the best of the best in this country. I've already made a decision that in that business, I'm going to hire 30% African Americans, and I'm going to hire 30% Africans. Then the remaining 40%, I'm going to hire other race. You see what I'm saying? That's my business. Because if I'm making 100% out on blacks only, then there is a problem. You see what I'm saying? Then there is a problem. But as long as, go ahead.
So this is the problem, and I love how complex this conversation is. When you said we need to start, I agree, and I'm tired of being told what we can't do. Like, I absolutely agree. Everything in America is about what we feel like doing, right? Whether we feel like doing some crap. My thing is this: when we're talking about reparations, we need to stop talking about it from a business owner or some sort of like SBA program or something like that, because those federal programs, when you add up the reparations programs, it's going to cost money to create those programs. And then all of a sudden, all that money just gets sucked up into administration fees. Whereas if you create an actual opportunity grant, well, now we have maybe 80 to 90% of that equity directly to us as the individual or the household. And that makes sure that we can spend it how we want. Now, Trigger Mike, you had said something earlier that is really important. And I think I would handle this. Any black person or black household that opts into that person's name on that deed of the land, house, however it looks, yeah, once you buy that house, you can't live anywhere else, bro, for the next, until you die. If you get this those are the sort of contracts, the obligations that needs to come with the reparations program. If we give you this grant, you're going to be posted up here.
Hey, can CBN, did he go yet?
I disagree with that, because you know what that does? What that does is that you're trying to make people, you're giving people money for investment, but with restriction whereby white people don't do that. They have money to move around. But CBN, please go ahead, please.
CBN, go ahead.
Let me add to what my kid was saying because it's great that he mentioned that. I was a contract working for MTA for 2 years, working at the headquarters, which is the transit hub in New York City. Now, working in the headquarters, they had a specific program that been going on. I didn't realize for almost a decade, whereby they auctioned out contract to minority and black women. It was labeling that type of would say minority and they say black women. I was kind of question why they just mention black women alone. But what they do is they give out contract to people. Either you're fixing the subway track, you're fixing the escalator, you're fixing the elevator, you're helping out clean the subway, you're working on the train yard, working the bus depot. Within the infrastructure of MTA, MTA control the subway, they control the bus, they control the tunnel as well as the bridge. Now, that being said, it had been going on for a while. There were a lot of minority contract, minority business that won the contract that either they're working on the construction, they're working on the cleaning, they're working on the infrastructure on many different levels. And that's just MTA alone. And MTA considered to be a state/private entity. Now imagine all your other infrastructure contract that been put out there, because there was a huge infrastructure that been put out in place. The question is, how many black construction businesses are fighting for the contract, either working on the bridge, working on the road, working on the infrastructure, and etc. That have been the number one big question. Thank you to black media. How many black-owned media, not black target media, black-owned media, are getting the tax dollar that given so they can amplify and build their infrastructure, which is similar to ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. They're getting tax dollars to help increase the infrastructure. What again they were talking about is totally true. The problem is it's not known across the board that people know that you can fight for the contract, start a bit and start hiring people so that you can create your infrastructure. That's where the problem comes to hand. I'm just telling you from what I see from experience.
CBN, you and I have these conversations a lot, but now I need to ask you this. What business? Like, again, we keep talking about contracts and businesses, but nobody wants to be specific.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that.
I got a question too. When you get a chance, I ain't trying to cut off, bro. Go ahead. Just when it arrives, I got a question.
Unless you have an IT bill when you're outsourcing or you're hiring people into data support, networking, cabling, whatever. You have an IT business, that's one sector. You have a construction business. What I found a lot out here in New York City is small black businesses that do construction. They're always trying to fight the bid. What they're being told, they're being set up with to lose the bid, because what they're doing, they're trying to break the contract into small sections so the big corporations that have that entity for many decades can buy them up quickly. Either you be in construction, either in infrastructure, either be in IT or any sector. What is going on right now, they're making sure a lot of these black businesses don't get the opportunity, chance to fight for the contract, where they're making sure that these big corporate entities buy it up quickly.
So what you're saying, reparations should be in the form of some kind of set aside? And listen, go ahead, Smitty, because I have to say something too.
I'm glad you said that, because I said it should be set aside. Because we had this conversation for many years, especially in most of the jobs, and I was told we cannot speak out loud about it, so we had to find a place to have the discussion without getting caught or caught to lose our job. What I noticed is the biggest problem is there's not a lot of education put out there to show people how you can start a business whereby it don't cost too much of anything. You can get properly set up. It's done in New York City. Let you go to work for one and show you how either you get a job or you start your own bit, and they'll help to sponsor you to build your business from ground up. That's not being put out a lot more often like it should be. Now, imagine this New York City alone based on the 4th to 5 bowl. Across the country, I'm not sure that level of education or information be pushed out more than enough, whereby people can start legitimate businesses, fight for the contract, and build their business up with the hiring. Because what am I doing?
Jimmy, I know I'm cutting you off, brother, but I mean, because there's so many extensions to this one. If you keep going down each one of those lanes, we're gonna be talking forever. I mean, I hear you, because I think I know where you're coming from. And I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're just another piece, just like the rest of us. Smitty, say what you have to say, and
it's real short.
I get what you're saying, because I get the picture, because to me, I agree with Trigger Mike. I agree in the beginning. When you give cash to the people, my first thing comes to my mind is when they get the cash, not every black family go to waste them. Don't go and invest it. But the majority, when we see the pandemic, where they got the PPP loan and the extra income tax check, whatever, you see a long line after a Foot Locker. You see a long line after many white businesses, and they end up spending their money right into that. I'm not saying they're all going to do the same thing. My concern is, I don't think we have a proper black organization that can help with it, because I say NAACP is a piece of crap. BLM is worse than NAACP. The problem
Like I
is,
said,
we need
we're gonna
these.
keep going down different paths. So NAACP
I get it. But what I'm trying to point out, black people need the money. Question is, how are you going to navigate that out of course?
Okay, Smitty, say what you have to say, because I'm curious. I have to say
You
something too.
sure this time? You sure?
I'm hoping so.
Just making sure. All right. So now it's real simple. So my whole thing now, I'm listening to the brother in red. I can't see too good. All right. So anyway, there we go. Respect to you. All right. My personal view, personally, for the longest time when it comes to this whole reparation things, it's been this. It's just a thought that came to me when he's talking about setting up these. My whole thing is like this. If we actually had it to where I believe most black men, because I genuinely, I don't know the true facets and intricacies behind it, but I do know that our sisters have been placed into a position where they can always get a job somewhere. But honestly, the average black man, it's hard for us to find like a 40-hour working position. A lot of jobs want to give us like 34, 36 hours. Why? Because as long as you're under 40, you don't get full benefits. So they can work you like a full-time worker, but you don't get the benefits. So my whole thing is like, do you really think that we would be having such a huge talk about reparations if majority of us, like me, I'm blessed, I'm thankful, you know, I'm a chef, so I'm never out of work, I'm good, I'm all right, my salary's beautiful. But the thing is, it's like, I really personally feel like if we had it set up to where a majority of our men were able to really truly be secured in even just like everyday employment positions, I don't even think we would be having this talk so much about reparations. Because why do you think we're talking about reparations so much? Because for whatever reason, folks feel like they're not good.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that for myself?
Sure. I mean, no, I just wanted to throw that in, bro. You got it. I digress. My mic is muted.
I just want to piggyback over that question, because my next question was, can black people make it in America without reparations? That's the first one. And I'm thinking that from where we came from and where we are, if we look at a significant amount of black people, some of us have done pretty well without one dime of reparations. Right? Yeah. We did something. You know what? Well, that's one thing. The second part is, how do we get past where we are when everybody has an idea of what reparation looks like? And depending on who could argue the most, the one thing that women do that, and I'm not calling any of us women, but the one thing at the end of the sign language is the need to be right. So the person with the biggest mouth and the need to be right, we can't get past go if the list of reparations doesn't look like the way the most loudest person wants it to be. We're going to just be arguing in meetings. That's all we're going to do is cutting each other's throat off because I have a different idea than the next guy and the next guy and the next guy.
Mr. Payne, that's exactly why it should be cash payments or a housing grant, because too many people, we all have our different idea of what we're going to do with it. So let's not pigeon-self ourselves into one lane. We all have a different idea.
Tyrell, how about the first question?
The first question is yes, but it's very difficult. Yes, it's very difficult. We are owed reparations, whether or not we can make it or not. I'm technically a successful Black Puerto Rican man. That doesn't mean that I don't think I don't deserve reparations. I absolutely do. I carry the legacy and heritage of two different enslaved people. So absolutely, that I'm owed that whether I'm successful or not. And at the end of the day, because we have so many diversity of opinions of what we plan on doing, That's why it either needs to be a cash payment, not saying a lump sum. Maybe you could split it up, say 10 over 10, 15 years, or a housing grant where you could either buy a home that's already built or build a home where you want your homestead. It has to be back into that almost that tradition of what those land grabs were in the 1800s, building our homestead.
This is how I'm going to put it, okay? When you get when the Italians came here, and then they have the issues with the Irish in New York. For the Italians to be able to be established in the United States, there was a reparation that was paid to them. When the Jewish people came over here, and then influx of them after the 1945 Hitler war, they got reparation. That was why they were able to move to California and build wealth in California. You see what I'm saying? So for African America to be able to survive in this country, they have to have reparation. Without it, they cannot move forward. You cannot, because you can't tell somebody to start a business. And then in the same vein, you're telling them that the business that they're starting, that they can start it with $2,000. Whereas there is somebody coming in with $2 million. It's not a fair advantage.
Hey, brother, one thing with that, I mean, you got a good point, but you know, the one thing that I believe our community, as far as African Americans, is missing, unlike like Jews, Africans, whatever, Jamaican, Spanish, you name it, Asian, East Indian, we're missing something called financial literacy. Right. Like we don't have that, bro. Like a lot of folks, whether it was school, where you from, but majority of it is just traditional upbringing. You all were like, a lot of people were raised on financial literacy. I don't even think most Black folks even know the definition of the word frugal. Honestly, they may just think that means cheap. They don't realize truly, because, you know, my father, he spoke to a rich, very, very rich Jewish guy one time. And he was telling me that story. He said, he asked him, he said, how did he get to the point of where he is? He said, we got to where we are because we know the value of a penny. And from there, everything else blossomed. That penny was the seed.
I like that.
Smitty, I agree. Here's the problem. As somebody who is very financially literate, it doesn't matter if your kids just go and blow it because they're lazy and entitled.
Why is it only that our children blow it and theirs don't?
No, that's actually not
Hold on,
true.
wait a minute. Focus on that. What's the difference? Why don't the Asian kids blow it? Why don't the Jewish kids blow it? Why don't the Spanish kids blow it? Why don't the African kids blow it? Why is it only us? Focus on that. Don't focus on pointing fingers, bro.
I'm trying to answer the question, and it's because unlike them, we don't have a literal root in this. We've been floating into society since the end of the Civil War. Every demographic you just named had a chance to have their own land. That's why you have a Chinatown. That's why you have an Italian village. This is why you have a Polish village. This is why you have these.
We can't act like somebody created all, like they created.
No,
China.
but what I'm saying is they came here voluntarily. We didn't, and so there's a legacy that comes with that.
Well,
there's
so this is where I take issue with this argument. Then I got to read the super chat. We cannot act like post-slavery, immediately after slavery, that the narrative of the black of the slaves was destruction and like disunity. It wasn't. They created They created Chinatown. They created all of that for themselves.
Yes, but they voluntarily came there. The Trigger Mike. You've ever heard of debt peonage? Sundown towns, black codes. You remember it wasn't just a white league. It was all of that.
I gotta get involved in this. I gotta tell you guys this.
Hold on. I gotta read.
We got all day towns in our hood, bro.
I gotta read the super chats, then we'll get a rebuttal. We gotta get a rebuttal. All right, my man Russell Sharp, $20. Appreciate that. What about us that want to leave gay America, and what you got giving black people nothing? You kind.
What?
Russell Sharp, $5. Black man, 34-year sentence, 400 found not guilty, Innocence Project. Russell Sharp again. What about Carmel Promotion, Rainbow, and African Mandatory? Russell Sharp, you killing me, bro. But I appreciate it. Advanced Perception.
I mean, he's sending
Solid.
that bread in, so
Hey, man, I appreciate him either way.
he's sending that bread
Give
in.
me a city block and see what I do with it. Hey, I like that.
Hey, that's
I like that vigor. I like that vigor.
Yeah.
All right, Russell Sharp, $5, my man. Again, let's see if I can get through it. Silicon Valley Bank stole 28 billions were mined. Queen, Lady E, how you doing? Appreciate that. Salute, Trigger Mike. Great conversation, great show. This is a great show. Y'all are passionate about this one, boy. I knew I was gonna get y'all ass with this one. True Table, let me get a thumbs up. Dave, come on, Cam, real quick. Let me get a thumbs up. Let me get a thumbs up.
All right. Okay.
Let's get
this is what we got.
Go ahead and respond, and let's get our new panelists in there.
Okay, this is what we got, right? I gotta say this real quick. It bothers me a lot when we black people try to act like the black community in this country didn't go through segregation, intimidation. You see what I'm saying? We have to be very careful when we say that. Oh, why is it that black people are not doing this? Why are they not doing that? I got to tell you something, right? When you have two swimmers competing for a gold, and all of a sudden the other swimmer, somebody ran up to him and put a sandbag on his waist, right? Do you expect that person to get to the finish line? No, they can't. They can't get to the finish line. We have to tell ourselves the truth that, let me tell you, every single time black people try to move forward in this country, it happens in Nigeria the same thing against the Igbos. The most industrialized tribe in Nigeria, they get destroyed by the two major tribes. They get destroyed by the two major tribes. You see what I'm saying? They get destroyed by these two major tribes. The reason why they get destroyed by these two major tribes is because they know what the Igbos can do. If you tell me that the average white man in government that is under the capitalist system don't know what black people can do financially in this country, you must be kidding me. They know what black people are capable of. And that is why every single time your head goes up, they put it down under the water. You build a Black Wall Street, they bomb it. They put a white woman right there. And then the white woman comes in and then cause commotion. And now black people are fighting for their lives. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand that when you are running that race, keep your eye determined to win that race, but don't be naive that they might not put a stumbling stone right there on the racetrack. They will. But watch out for that. So please, guys, like my brother Taros is saying, he is 100% correct. They've always put a stumbling stone on black people. But what we have to do now that we're trying to build a voice and establish a voice and get the black man to be in front of this race now instead of the black woman, because this is what they've been doing for the past 20 years. They've gone through all these shenanigans, right? Then they put the black woman in front of the race now to put the black man behind him because they want to still stop the black man from winning the race. Because when a black man wins that race, guess what happened? The black community changed forever. But we as black people also have to fix our goddamn selves. Because when people are against you and you're not educating your folks, you're not doing the right thing, you're walking on the street with a saggy pants instead of suit, you're trying to do everything. When you go to work late, you said it's black. You know what I'm saying? When you can build contract, when you can build federal government contract, when you can go out there and look for a job, you say, oh, this, and then you put it on a woman to do the job for you. It's your fault in some cases. But the black man that is trying to do the job, they're pushing down. Go ahead,
You're
bro.
talking about focus, right? Or there's no everything in any demographic. There's enough black men who can ignore the siren call of black women and keep moving forward. There's enough black men who want to look at success and try to achieve it regardless of whether we get reparations or not. There's enough
100%
black
correct.
men. There's enough black men who can ignore the noise that's coming from one line from a white woman and keep putting their content out. There's enough black men to do that, right? And so we just have to focus on that and ignore the rest. Especially, I don't know about the manosphere, but they call this crap the manosphere, whether people want to be part of it or not. The fact that any women in this space who are making money can think that they could tell us whether we should like one person or not like one person is no different than the shaming tactics that any other women use. Calling some respected content creators coons and all that, unless they agree with us as women, is no different than the 304s and any other woman out there trying to guide and tell men what to do. Just mind your goddamn business. This is what men want to do. And until men can stand up and say, I'm going to hold my dick and I'm going to make my decisions, whether it's the right one or the wrong one, is my decision to make. We're going to still be guided by every little distraction that's out there, right? So even with this, reparations or not, and I don't want to argue whether we should get it or not, whether we don't get reparations or not, there's still no excuse for me, you, and every other black man to have a successful family and move forward.
Speaking of family,
I don't give a shit what nobody says.
Speaking of family, I'm gonna put the new question up so we can get that in before I gotta go. But True Table and Dave, y'all can speak to the general topic, but I want y'all to answer the question as well. Next question is, chat, y'all ready? Some of y'all ain't gonna like this one. Y'all gonna be like, what about me? But anyway, should there be an extra tax incentive for black couples that are married or get married and live together for at least 5 years? As far as reparations is concerned, you get extra shit for being married. What y'all think? True Table.
Yeah, I don't see why not. We're an incentivized culture, so why not? Anything that's going to get people to move forward and building together, I support it. But if I may, I wanted to add my perspective to the overall topic. And this is coming from somebody who originally did not, agree with reparations, mainly because I didn't think it was going to be overly beneficial. So I have to repent, to the panel, to the community. And my perspective on it is that, like Rich just said, it's not going to be an absolute. Even if they pay out reparations in cash, what'll happen is it'll funnel to those people who are foolish with money, and then those who know how to actually, build. It'll be tremendously beneficial. What I believe overwhelmingly happens is that our people are very fearful for a number of reasons, and I understand why, because the things we've done have been destroyed and it's been systematic. However, most of what our problem is that it's not a capital issue. It is a economy issue. We have no way to protect our dollar. When we acquire money, the money funnels out because everything is not owned by us as a community. We don't have industries. We don't have any way to dictate scale. So it's forcibly going to always funnel out until we start to really own, industries, and things like that. And that's a combination, real estate, manufacturing, so on and so forth. Spare you the details. But a level of financial literacy is tremendously valuable. I don't know if anyone's read Dr. Claude Anderson's Powernomics. That book talks about how to do this correctly in detail. And I believe that there's, again, just a disparity. Most of our community thinks that even something like the lottery, for example, that the best way to acquire your money would be a cash payout, which is stupid because the taxes on it will kill you, and again, I'll spare you the details on that, but it's just understanding that it's not one thing. It's cash, it's financial literacy. We don't have an economy. There's separation. And I heard Rich say something, and it's not too much of a pushback. I just want to comment to it. It's not enough for one individual family to do it right. It's not enough for me to do it right, or Trigger Mike to do it right, or you paying to do it right. That's the problem. We individually do right by ourselves, great, but it doesn't replicate. It's only one household. It does not fan out. Most of us can't even pay for college tuition for, the children that you have, or bury our loved ones if that occurs. That's the problem. There's no economy for Black people. So that's what I wanted to add thus far. Yes, they should incentivize people who want to get married, because then you'll see a lot more weddings occurring. So my mic is muted.
All right, Dave, let's get you in there. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I agree with what he said about the marriage thing, but I have a few other things that I think that we need to be cognizant of. Are anybody familiar with the color of law? Because we keep calling ourselves the color of law. Laws is on the book, the black law book. We keep calling ourselves.
I don't know where the hell Tarus just pulled that book from, but yeah, he got the book apparently.
Okay, now because he knows. So the younger generation, we're a little wiser. Not trying to be funny, we respect the OGs, but the color of law, we keep calling ourselves Black. We got to stop that. That means we don't have no rights. Number two, we need to repeal the 14th, the 13th, and the 15th Amendment got to go.
Yeah.
Number two is we got to say, okay, we're going to get the reparations. We need y'all to do a recount in these political Senate, Congress. We need to do an open revote, because it don't matter if we get the money and they still in power. Number three is the Homestead Act got to get repealed. That's why they're trying to pay us. It's going to be every state. We need to understand that we are the trustees of this land. It's our land. So it don't matter if they got the money and they got the land. The money don't matter if they keep owning the land. All the resources come out the land. So we got to quit saying, okay, we're going to take the reparations. We want 4-5 states to ourselves. We got to think bigger than small stuff. We got to put military stuff into our schooling. We got to teach the kids different. We can't keep teaching them the same things you learned because you got your master's degree of your master. That's all fake stuff. We got to think bigger, because the same education ain't gonna teach us. We know Musa Mesa came over here over 100-some-thousand years ago, before the so-called Native Americans, who are Siberian white people. Come on, man, let's keep it related to Asians. So we can't keep just talking about just money. Money ain't gonna fix the problem. We gotta get rid of the education system. We gotta quit calling ourselves Black, because that means we don't have no rights. What they have done is put us in the Black state. We were the Freemans, and they turned themselves white, when we really the white people and they really the Black people. And I ain't no excuse to my brother from Africa. I love you, my guy, but I mean, the advice you giving when y'all not even fighting for your own land over there is kind of crazy, because we supposed to been all got together.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm not saying, hold on. Don't get offensive. We got to be grown men here. That's our brother. We know we family. We know we are kin to each other. I'm not saying in a bad way. It ain't a hate thing.
Keep going, bro.
Hold on. Come on, bro. Don't get we not getting offensive in here. I love the brothers. I'm 100% with the Africans. We need to go over there and help them ride. Get our shit together and go. That's why.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm gonna say something. I figured out because I talked to many Africans. I got African friends. And they told me. I said, "Why y'all be so angry at us?" Can I finish, bro? Let me go. Let me finish, bro. Relax. Ain't no. It's all. These are our cousins. We know we came from over there, but we was the first people on this land. What I'm saying is, I've talked to a couple of them out on vacation when I've been taking the cruises and stuff, and they say, "I say, well, why y'all so mad at us? Because they feel like we haven't came over there and helped them either." So I'm not saying it in a bad way. We are the indigenous people on every continent, because the old British monarchy was us until they took us down in the late 1800s. They just got over here. They just did all this in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The Homestead Act, all the different acts they passed. When we went for civil rights, we gave them rights. We owned all the stores and schools. We had all our stuff already. So it's got to be more than just money. Money not going to change the whole situation. Money is the part to facilitate that, but we got to change the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, stop calling ourselves Black, and go back into our original nationality. Because even though the African does come over here, he is our brother, 100%. I love him. We supposed to be riding with them. They have a nationality. We keep calling ourselves Black, African. They keep changing our names every 20 years on the census. We're not colored people. We are a Pacific people. And that means the Asian man can be a colored person. The Ukrainian coming over here can be a colored person. I mean, they're getting Social Security right now. So it's not just a simple, and I'm not stepping on nobody. I love the African brother. I respect them, because looking at them shows me a lot about what I'm supposed to be doing. And myself here, fighting for my own land. Because we ain't come on no boats. That's false. They didn't have the technology to bring us on no boats back in the day. So I'm just saying we need to change that. Because if they do it in California, that means they're gonna do it on every state. But the Homestead Act, they took 9.5 million acres from Black people in the Homestead Act in the 33. We got to get rid of that Social Security number they gave us, making us a U.S. citizen. We're different. You got the government of the U.S. and you got the United States of America. We need to understand the difference, but it starts by us getting well versed in the laws. We got to learn the laws, and we got to realize we made the Bill of Rights. They made the Constitution, so we got to know the difference. Because our forefathers are the one who had this, who made the laws of this country. They co-opted it because we brought them over as indigenous service, and they co-opted the government. So we got to know the real and stop being this old, because we keep teaching the same stuff in school. We're not gonna, our kids gonna be in the same rut. We gotta learn how to really teach our kids that our forefathers are the ones who put this country. The Victorians was us. The old British, when they say the British coming to free the slave, let's be honest, we know it wasn't Caucasian people that was the British that freed the slave. Everywhere they land, everywhere they boats land, just like in Australia, they took over and became them people. So we gotta look at things from a different historical perspective to know who we are, because you seek the truth and the truth gonna set you free. Now, all the other points, I 100% agree on. I'm gonna fall back.
All right, so let me address the thing you said about like it. People make the situation in Africa sound so easy. Like all y'all got to do is Africa has a very unique set of problems, bro. And
I agree.
It is what, because I don't want to make tribalism sound like a bad thing, because associated with your tribe is your history, and that history runs deep. Anything deeper than you can find here in America, that history runs deep. But it's extreme tribalism over there now, to where it is led into government corruption and a corrupt economic structure. So you said, go over there, buy some land. Can you imagine buying some land, sending the money to the government and the bank, and then they say that land ain't even yours, and that's your life? So
I didn't say buy no land, brother. I didn't say buy no land.
Everything in Africa is way more complicated than anybody over here could ever comprehend. Do they do that government structure better here in America? To your face, on surface level, yes, it is better. But obviously, there are other levels of corruption that go on here in America under the surface that don't nobody know about. So that's why. But it's just when people make it sound so simple, like go over there. Okay, think about it this way. We talked about the Second Amendment, right? Anybody, the government can only do but so many things here, because the people will take up arms against the government because we have them. Ain't nobody got no arms except the armed robbers in Africa. So it's very hard for the people to mobilize against everybody, or against anybody rather. But
what I was saying is, I wasn't saying this is what I was saying. I'm saying yes, there are corruption. I'm saying, but the ones in their tribe love their tribe, because we are tribal here. Chicago, Cleveland, New York, we are different tribes. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is the ones who love their tribes stand with their tribes. Well, that's all I was saying. I wasn't saying like,
you know what? Let me make a distinction clear, because this person is right. I'm talking about Nigeria. So Ghana, Kenya, some of these places are actually, well, they have way smaller populations, but Nigeria is twice as big as any other African country by population size. But they are, other countries are really looking good. I think most notably, I'd like to say Ghana and Kenya, as far as their ability to accept expats and their government functioning well. I've seen strides made by those countries. So you're right. I do apologize. AMI today. Yes, other African countries, Nigeria in particular, has to get it together though.
But I think honestly, number one, we gotta, as men though, not trying to be funny, as men, y'all are correct. We have to stop tucking our tail, because we are responsible for our children. That's why they have our last name there. I love the woman. I love my wife to death, but the kids are my legacy, not hers. That's why they take my last name. So in the same breath, my mother's a strong cold feminist, so it makes it very hard to deal with her on some things. But we can't use that as no excuses, because we gotta look at this. This is how I look at it as a man. We should never put women in a position where they had to depend on no other man to come in and help them. That's how I look at it. I don't want to keep passing blame. I know feminism was bad, but I do look at this, because my father's generation, I'm only 45 years old. My father's generation probably was the generation that didn't do right by their kids. They didn't come pick the kids up, didn't pick them. So me as a man, I try to be better to my kids. Huh?
I said everybody's blaming the baby boomers.
No. I'm not. Don't, you can't take it. I'm not saying don't take it personally. It's not you, my brother. It's not.
No. I'm not taking it personally. I'm not. I really ain't. I'm not.
Because I respect my elders 100%. I get, when I hear stories about what happened, but this, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna step back, because we don't get all awesome, man. We on the same page. But this is how I've looked at it as I've learned out history. These people fed us the alligators. These people hung us on trees. These people killed my grandmother. There's nothing they can tell me that I'm gonna believe and take because I gotta do it myself. That's how I feel about it.
Can I ask a question real quick? This whole Brother Trig, this whole like, should they get, the tax cut and everything? My only question is this for my answer. Does everybody else get that?
What for?
Your original question.
The one down at the bottom?
Yeah. No. I mean, like.
Yeah, we still gotta answer that question. Yeah.
The tax thing, should black married couples get like what you said? Does everybody else get that?
What you mean everybody else? Like who? You mean black?
The races. You said should black couples. Okay,
yes,
so that means
I have an answer for that.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to understand the question.
Yeah, so because I'm trying to understand it. So what you're saying is secluded that the question implies that black married couples should get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody else get that?
I don't think they should. I think it should be
yes.
put.
No, people get it.
I'm just listen. Y'all going all off on something.
No, I'm answering
real simple where I'm trying to go.
Yes, I'm answering your question.
Hold on, let me answer first. You mean every other black person or every other American?
No. Other like you said black. So like white, Spanish, whatever. Exactly. No. So you're asking as far as just us, but nobody else gets it.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is
no, we shouldn't get it. See, that's how I'm trying to base my answer on. I'm trying to base it on, does everybody else get it? See, I'm about equality around the board. I don't like to pick and choose. I don't care what it's about. The fact is, we shouldn't be considered a group of people who know that we are like the world's entertainment. We are highly intelligent, like everything else. We always talking about all the things that we really invented that white folks stole and all this other stuff. Well, you know something, I'm not even on some like pull yourself up by the bootstraps type thing necessarily, but it's like, bruh, like if nobody else is getting that, and if everybody else is figuring out how to make it, I don't know why, if even we consider ourselves to be the original people of planet Earth, we are the original people of the Earth. How can't we figure out how to get it done? So I don't want to hear that. That's why I wanted to answer it the way I did.
I have an answer. I have an answer.
Everybody go ahead.
Hold on, because he addressed me. Let me give a pushback on it. Do you think the U.S. government incentivized the destruction of the black family?
Yes.
Then why wouldn't a tax benefit for black couples and people to create a black family be beneficial for only black people? It's
because
not about
you didn't add that part into the question. All I heard was, should we get that? I didn't hear the part about, the government. So when you implicate that piece, that's why I'm that person. I don't just listen to like the clips of a news story. I'm that guy that likes to dig. Hold on, what happened before he got arrested? Blah, 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 everything else. So you saying that gives better perspective on it. So I would look at it like, okay, so you're saying we should get kind of like a mental trauma type thing, almost like a PTSD type write-off, right?
Yeah, the California basically outlined every thing that's ADOS and FBA members suffer from as a result of being a descendant of slavery. And I'm saying that the destruction of the family and everything we basically talked about, I'm basically for. I don't think anybody else is wrong. I'm just skeptical on if it can be maintained outside of the nuclear family structure.
I want
to every other ethnic group has that we don't have. So
I want to support the tax. I want to support the tax.
Educated on that, so I'm not going to answer. I'm gonna let the upper brothers get on that. I don't answer something I'm not educated on.
The reason why I say no is because as a married man, we already have tax incentives, right? And if you don't know about those tax incentives, then that speaks back to Smitty's point of you need to learn some financial literacy. Here's why. When we're talking about tax incentives, we have to understand something. One, now you're basically trying to con people into staying married, so that's not a real marriage. Two, when you do tax incentives, you have to remember our public schools are funded by school district, by local tax incentives. And so if you lower the taxes, that means less money goes to our school systems. So you're literally just making it worse by trying to have a fraudulent marriage. And by the way, that the harm done to the black families, that's what the reparations is for.
Well, I do got pushback for that, because if anything that they do in the form of reparations, they also do for others in the form of subsidy. So you can subsidize the school system. You can subsidize
subsidies for businesses, though. It's hard to do subsidies
and I'm
for
saying,
individuals.
But to use your point against you, black people are only 13.8% of the population. So anything you subsidize for us won't have the effect. Won't have a major effect. If we move to greater neighborhoods and greater school districts, our 13.8% won't make enough impact to leave everybody else destitute.
But to counter your counter, think about that. If we get an extra tax incentive specifically for black families, and then they all move out of the hood, then where's all the money going to come from the school districts in the hood?
To counter your counter, they already give these incentives to the rich. When you just tax the rich a few more percent, you could provide child care for every single kid under 5 in America. I would say that.
But rich people pay for school districts despite the fact that they still send their kids to private schools.
You just gonna counter my counter. All right,
hey. This is inherently the problem, right? When we get into the tax code and everything like that, you start playing too much again. This is why it needs to be straight up. You either come up with a cash or a housing grant. You know
it's going to be. It needs to be more than. Hang on. Go ahead.
There is something I was going to say.
I said EBD.
The reason why they call the white woman the number one welfare chick in the United States is because of the marriage tax breaks that they do get.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So white women are the number one welfare queens, not black women. Because white women find out that due to the tax credit and tax that they give their husbands through W-2, and also other loopholes that enable them to get child tax credit, real estate credit, daycare, and then even the man being in the house. So they discover those things as tax credits. That is why white women stay married. Because once they divorce, they lose some of those tax credits. So they will take all that bullshit and stay married because of the tax credits. So black women or black people, yes, if we stay married, we will get those tax credits, but you just got to get the right tax person that will do your taxes for you to get those tax credits.
Yeah, I just think that when we're talking about fixing an entire community, we're not just talking about reparations in the form of currency exchange. What we're talking about is separating ourselves from an entire system that devalues our like every aspect of our lives. And with reparations, you can actually not just rebuild a community, but you can rebuild an entire nation. And I mean a nation that is intergenerational, meaning that when we spend our tax dollars, they're not just going to quote unquote the state. We actually become the state. We can have our own government. We can have our own system of doing things. We can have our own policies, our own businesses, our own industries. And we can move within a black space from education, from K through 12, from birth to death. And we don't have to worry about other people's legislation about what we can and can't learn in school. We'll learn about our history. We'll learn about other people's cultures and history. We'll learn about commerce and business. We'll learn about international trade. We'll learn about shipping. We'll learn about avionics. We'll have our own everything.
That's what I'm talking about right there, young man. That's what I'm talking about.
And we ain't got to worry about no damn tax break because we'll be writing laws instead of just having to obey them.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. Because do we
let me real quick. I'm sorry. Let me just tell you this real quick. No, you always need tax breaks. I'm sorry. You need tax breaks.
No. I'm just saying we won't have to worry about that as a topic as an overall. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't need them. I'm just saying in the overall scope of things, it's included in that.
Okay, let me ask this. If y'all had a chance,
black tax, it's really dicey.
Okay. If y'all had a chance to, let me just put it this way. If they said that we can finance tax breaks or reparations with the same tax breaks that Donald Trump gave the rich, and we reverse it and give it to black people, would you be in favor of those tax breaks then?
$2 trillion, yeah, count me in.
Yeah. I'm in.
Hindsight, no.
We need the capital.
Why y'all trying to be fair?
Do you? No, I'm talking about at the end of the day, this is about bringing us up in the entire country. The Trump tax cuts screwed this country over really bad.
Look who he gave it to. Look who he gave it to. $2 trillion.
So you're talking about reversing it from the rich,
reversing it.
Yes.
Hold on, I was gonna say the number one certainty in this country is somebody's
reversing the tax rates for the rich.
Somebody's always getting screwed in this country. It's either the rich or the middle class. So you don't want to be the one doing the screwing just for a little while.
No. So you're saying that's what I was saying with EBD. Are you saying instead of the corporations, we get it? That's what you were saying, Trigger Mike?
That's what he said.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was just like no, I agree with that. And by the way, I would rather get the reparations over the tax break, over the marriage tax.
Yeah,
I'd rather get the reparations.
But also, we should get at least like a 50 or 60 year abatement on paying taxes. Us as a people.
I agree with that part. I agree with that. See, hey, Dave, let me put this to you. Suppose all we got was the tax abatement for 2 generations. Let me just say, if the whole bundle of reparations came down to that black folks, ADOS and FBA, didn't have to pay taxes for the next 2 generations.
Yep.
See, now, to me, that's a pill and medicine that could be swallowed, as opposed to saying, give me $2 trillion of shit right up front and then spread it around to everybody. Let me tell you, if I didn't have to pay taxes for the rest of my life, I don't give a shit what white people do. I'm the happiest fucking guy. I'm the happiest freaking guy in the world. And so if you have a job and you don't have to pay taxes, that kind of reparations is something almost all of medicine people could take down like with the sugar candy. Let me tell you.
Why are you so scared of taxes, so that's just, man? Huh? Why are y'all so scared of taxes? I'd rather have $5 million taxed at 30% than $0 taxed at freaking 10%.
Let me say something, man. Let me just say something to you. You have a mindset of how you expect reparations to be. And
because I want people to be as successful as me.
Well,
man.
you have Jews for everybody who has a different idea on that. Because so I'm saying that's one of the reasons why we're not going to get tax break. That's why reparations ain't going to work.
Hang on.
Black person
hold on.
Taxes.
You mean the black people that cock block our own people in California? Them black people?
Hold on, NAACP is not a black organization.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's got blackface. It's run by the small.
Wait. This is why I'm.
The only thing I see is 2 brothers going at each other right now.
Being the last person at school to get picked up yesterday, I look stupid as hell because of y'all arguing on this panel yesterday. She's the last person out there with the white lady. Like I was like, oh damn, I'm not that dude, so I'm not doing that today. Let's get King Colin in here. Then we're gonna get final thoughts that are actually gonna be 30 seconds. King Colin, go ahead. What you got?
And I won't take much longer than 30 seconds. Thank you for letting me onto the panel, Trigger Mike. So someone said earlier, I was listening to it on my headphones. I was doing something at the moment that we should take the reparations and put it off onto housing. And I completely agree on that. I believe that most of the people are going to spend it on top hat foolery anyway, like belts and earrings and watches that depreciate, not the good ones. So we're pretty much just we're going to give them all the money for no reason. It's completely stupid. Put it into housing. Put it into more jobs, give it to people that are going to give people more jobs, and we can actually make something out of it. That's all I got to say, man.
I appreciate that. Let's get these final thoughts. 30 seconds or less. I'm almost afraid to go to Mr. Ikene first. This dude did a 17-minute final thoughts yesterday. You got the floor, Mr. Ikene. Go ahead.
I didn't know it was that long. But let's put it this way, right? Reparation is very, very good. Like I said earlier, putting it into real estate. In my podcast, I always say this: if you're going to buy one real estate, that is not an investment. If you buy 2 real estate, you're kind of walking in the right direction. You need 4 real estate in this country if you have 2 kids to be able to pass generational wealth. Because number one, if you have 401k, you have any form of retirement, your first house extends your income until you're 75. Your second house extends your income into your 80s, which means every 10 years you must sell a real estate to survive medical expense, vacation, and every other miscellaneous. Your third real estate is what transfers your wealth to your first child. Your fourth real estate transfers your wealth to your second child. So buying real estate is not the best way to build wealth or build transfer of wealth if you're not going to have plans of adding 3 or more real estate to your real estate portfolio. Rather, I would say this: take your money, build real estate business with other people, whereby you're buying apartments, renting out apartments. I'm not talking about buying house to rent out to a single family. Buy multi-apartment function, multi-purpose apartment, whereby you can have multiple units and be able to sell it. The problem that we Black people have is that we don't invest with other people. You have to invest with other investors to build your wealth. You can never be you can never be alone and have that's a functioning P that makes sense. You got to P in groups. That's an adage in Nigeria, so you guys might be confused about that. But what I'm trying to say is this, right? Invest your money with other investors to build wealth. Real estate is single or two real estate is not the best way to form generational wealth or wealth transfer.
Exactly. I've heard that so many times where it's like, if you're going to hold real estate, not really the best investment. You got to flip it in order to make money, but holding it as a form of generational wealth, absolutely.
Trigger Mike. I digress. My mic is muted. Respect.
Yep. Tarus, 30 seconds or less. Told y'all Mr. Ikene don't listen. What was the time on it? Thank you.
I'm sorry, Dover, because you cut me off. Hold up. Bam. All right, guys. So check this out. You want to know what I'm doing right now? I'm about to buy my second house. And I'm not buying it to flip it. I'm buying it for my family. By the way, this first home, I got $50,000 in equity because every time you pay your mortgage, you are paying yourself equity. So no, run me either a check or a housing grant and let me do my thing like most other Black people because I trust my fellow Black men to make the right decision. Those are my final thoughts.
27 seconds. This man is amazing. EBD, what you got? Final thoughts.
I'm trying to do better than that. All right. First thing we got to do is stop with all the self-loathing of whether we should or shouldn't get it, and understand that this is something that's owed to us. If you don't believe in it, go ahead and forward your check to me. And I think that what this is going to do is transform our own community, and over time, it'll change how we see ourselves and how other people see us as well. I think that people need to think long-term and big picture and stop worrying about gold chains and rims and whatever we're going to spend the money on. You need to start thinking big picture, how we're going to change our industry, how we're going to be able to compete local, globally, and interstate, and just keep it positive.
I bet. CBN, final thoughts.
I'll make it quick and simple. This will have been an interesting conversation, interesting topic. I would have to 10,000% agree with the Kenny and Tarus. Give me a housing grant. I work and build on my own family wealth. If I had to buy 1 or 2 property, but I'll create a business on the side, hire more tech specialists. So this way I can compete for some more either federal contract or independent contract from private entity and build an empire from there. That's the way I look at it. As a Nigerian, we want to build to expand, not to keep to one minimum. To my Igbo brother, I salute you.
All right, Mr. Rich.
All right, real quick. Listen, I think we are owed reparations, but I think it's a debt that white men can never repay. That's number one. But if we get it, I'm not giving back the check. I can tell you that much. But in the meantime, I'll tell Black people, don't hold your breath waiting for that shit. Move forward no matter what. with your family and do the best you can and stop being victims to the system. And whether you could bring other families with you, great. But don't hold your breath waiting for the reparations. That's it.
Don't hold your breath.
Hey,
Hold on
facts,
real
Mr.
quick.
Payne. Don't wait around for it, guys.
Hold on, King Colin, because let me bring this person to the front of the congregation. Golden Pisces says black men who abandoned their kids should not be eligible for reparations, in my opinion. How the hell did we get on this topic? How? How did we get on this topic? Even on a show about Cardi B, reparations and black excellence, somebody had to go in there. These niggas don't take care of their kids. Goodness gracious. King Colin, go ahead.
Thank you. So reparations are not going to change anything. Like the brother right before me said, Rich, focus on what you got going on in life. Stop waiting for things. Whether or not we get the reparations isn't going to change anything if you don't change your mindset. I personally was on a bad page myself last year, and over the last year, I've grown into someone that's, I believe in my eyes, great. And I believe every man can change. As long as we change our daily patterns and stop worrying about what other people are doing, we can always make a positive impact on our lives and the people around us. As far as what old girl just said, if we leave the kids or not, we still got to be men. So what you got to say makes no fucking difference. That's all.
I'm typing back at her. She talk about, oh, y'all just mad because most of y'all won't be eligible. Most black men under 35 don't even have kids. So
she has hair on her feet. She has hair on her feet. We're not worried.
Absolutely. She absolutely does. She absolutely
King, bro.
Spoken like a lady with a wig and scoliosis. All right, Dave.
Oh my God.
All right, first of all, like he said, we ain't supposed to be waiting. We supposed to be building now. I'm building now. Start your own businesses now. But I will say, if we do get the reparations, that yes, we need a tax abatement. We need to take some of that money and get us some land, because land is the first part of being to get equity, and we need to get trusts so our kids don't have to pay taxes on when we get the homes. How far back? But we do need to start trusts though. Trusts is how they get around the taxes.
Agreed.
And it's trusts. This man said trust is.
But we know what you meant though, brother.
I think she probably does have beautiful feet, I'm sure. But that's all right.
In fact, Golden Pisces, bring your ass up here. We want to see them feet. Now,
Oh my God. Hey, Dave, reparations would include land. It wouldn't be just one thing. It'd be multitude of things.
It would have to be. It would have to be.
It would have
They're
to
gonna
be.
do it.
All right.
And
let me read these
one
super
one
chats
last
and get
thing
out
though.
of here.
Remember, we are the original people of the world. They just took the world.
Man, come on. Nobody cares about that anymore.
That's all I'm saying. So lawyers, I'm just
They
saying
didn't take
lawyers.
the world. They didn't take the world. They didn't take the world. They just took all the money. They took all the money.
Have some pride and love yourself. You are the original everything.
They done stole black people history, African people's history, and start calling it their own. Nobody cares that we were the original people no more.
No. I want no negative. I'm saying that you are great.
I'm fucking with you.
Love
Let
yourself.
me get these super chats ready before that white lady give me the side eye again. All right. The Gemini, $5. Y'all got to stop. They blow money. We created. 2, what was Central Park and Black Wall Street? I said that. But this group of niggas in America, they blowing the money. I'm sorry. Y'all didn't see the Galleria like I saw it. Y'all did not see the Galleria like I saw it. This consumerism. I mean, come on, y'all. The statistics say hours are $1 circulate. Hours. There's no way they're keeping that money. Hours. I know we have faith in black people. I got faith with the right guidance. But just give them money?
Trigger, all we have to do is just do the right, just be normal Americans. And
yeah, like nobody's gonna have a business. Nobody's gonna have a business. Everyone's just gonna go gambling in Vegas.
Hold on. And then white people are gonna be normal Americans and start using their money to make commercials to take that money out your pocket. If you give black people reparations, I'm gonna be the next black billionaire.
Trigger. I have to say this. Y'all
plan.
understand that everything is economics. If you buy a house, you're buying in the housing market, aka economics. If you go to the store, you're buying food, aka economics. Everything is economics, man.
Hold on, Karoo. Do you know where black people are gonna mess up? Because you're right, they're gonna buy houses with a $350 $63,000 payment, they're gonna buy a $1.5 million house and be like, damn, I ain't know the light bill was over
not with a housing
$2,000.
grant. They won't.
I ain't got it.
Not with a housing grant.
I got to say this. I got to say this to you guys. Whenever, if the dollar does not circulate, if money does not circulate, the economy crashes. But it depends on how many percentage of your income is circulating. That's all it is.
We'll have black
of
banking.
your income?
We already have black
And
banking.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people. That's why I tell people all the time that this is how you calculate your income. Number one, you cannot pay mortgage or rent that exceeds 35% of your income after tax.
Yeah, I know. I got to get out of here, Mr. Incan. I got to.
Okay.
Emancipated Negress. Negress, $10. Let some more too. We've been here since been here. Y'all foreigners should not speak on this matter. It does not concern you. Africa owes us too. No, the fuck they don't. That's number one. Africa, good luck getting your money from Africa. That's one. Number two is it does concern us. I'm an American, you idiot. And let me just say this.
What's up?
My
brother?
kids are black. Hold on. My kids are black. Okay. Even I'm not entitled to any money, but I would like for my kids to have other black kids in the neighborhood to play with. So this does concern me as an American. If you're not going to stop the white man from talking about you, if you're not going to stop just pearly things from getting in your ass, then don't talk shit to me. Okay, lady? I ain't pronouncing this shit. Eyes. Golden Pisces. All right, no, we done. Hey, man, I want to appreciate everybody on the panel for coming through. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Thank you for all your support. And yeah, this was an excellent topic. Thank y'all for coming through, man. Tonight we got the big show on Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when we have that topic going on tonight. I appreciate everybody's support. And we out till tomorrow, man. Have a great day, everybody. This was a great show. I agree. Thanks, everybody, for your support and coming through. We out. See you next time.